welfare of society and the just government of humanity. We beseech you to look upon with abundant favor these your servants, whom you have been pleased to call to the performance of such important trusts in this land. Let your blessing descend upon them here assembled, and grant that they may, as in your presence, treat and consider all matters that shall come under their deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as promote honor and glory, and to advance the good of those whose interests you have committed to their charge.
Item 2, communication from the chair.
Thank you, colleagues. I want to welcome you to this year's final sitting as we go for the Christmas break. And I also want to thank you for turning up in big numbers yesterday to pay glowing tribute to our colleague, the Honorable Okabe. I know, like the speaker said, when we lose one of us, it always shakes us. But the God the Almighty will always guide us through. So I want to urge you, for those who can, that we should do it in big numbers. Let us go to Serere tomorrow. Personally, I'll be there. Let us go to Serere tomorrow. We give a big send-off to our colleague. It's a message, it's a strong message we send in terms of caring for each other. If we can go to bury for relatives, for what, I think when it comes to a colleague, we should be there in big numbers. So I urge you, please join us tomorrow in Serere. We say bye-bye to our honorable colleague. I'll be amending the order paper to provide for, to allow the Minister of Finance to table supplementary schedule number 1 for financial year 2022-2023. And also today the decisions, the issues we have on order paper are issues that don't require quorum. Someone might say, no, you don't have quorum, you don't, because there are no critical resolutions to be made. We are mainly meeting procedural requirements, as I'll be explaining later on some of these issues. So next item. Now, what do you want to comment really? Please, colleagues, please, we don't have much time here today, okay? The issues I've raised, I don't see which communication you want to react to.
Item 3, bills first reading.
No, let me allow 2 minutes, Honorable.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Just speak on your communication. Speaker, in the 10th Parliament, we lost Honorable Abiriga. And what happened when the border was taken to Arua? You saw what happened. And the reason was that people were bitter because there was no report why Honorable Abiriga was killed. And I think up to now, there is no report how our colleague died. Then Honorable Katumba was attacked. And I've heard the president saying it was ADF. Now, Right Honorable Speaker, we lost a colleague on Monday in an accident. You are calling us to go for the burial tomorrow. This house, the Minister for Works is a member of this house. The Minister for Internal Affairs is a member of this house. The Minister for Defense is a member of this house. Even the Minister of Foreign Affairs, because they are saying that the truck that knocked our colleague had registration numbers of a foreign country. So, Mr. Chairman, the Right Honorable Speaker, our colleague who died on Monday today is a Friday. We are burying on Saturday tomorrow, and there is no report on actually what happened. If the truck was a Kenyan truck, where was the truck going? If the driver took off, who is the owner of the truck? What is the police doing? So I would request that before we go for the burial tomorrow, we should have at least a partial report of what has happened, what has been done, so to give people hope that something is being done on this matter. Otherwise, we may have another scenario of Arua.
Thank you.
I can see the
No, not on reaction. Thank you, Honorable Itungo. Number one, the police came out with a statement, as far as the accident is concerned. But number two, really, it shouldn't be on this floor where we are having such a doubt and creating such a suspicions in the minds of people. The Minister of Works was here yesterday. He talked. The family is, we've met the family. We have been working with the family. We have not seen any doubt. We have cooperated. We have a team on the ground as parliament. We have a team on the ground as security to just keep order, law and order. I've not had any, because the family would have been the first. All those complaints you're talking about, Honorable colleague, started from the family. But the family knows what exactly killed their parents. So I would urge, I've taken note of the matter. I'll pass on the message to the relevant minister, but I would urge that as the situation is calm, we should also give a message that creates further calm on the ground. Okay? Yes, Honorable Kanya, the last one.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, you have indicated the Minister of Finance is going to lay the paper. We appreciate it. Honorable Speaker, we come here to do our constitutional duty. The budget framework paper is laid, we process the budget, do appropriation and pass. Honorable Speaker, to date, the House has requested, as provided for in the Public Finance Act, the quarterly report on budget performance. The minister has presented their reports, but the reality on the ground is totally different. Honorable Speaker, institutions are being given release, which is air release. We are now going to start another budget process. We need the Minister of Finance to give us hope that we are not going to waste time.
Thank you. Honorable colleague, the minister did his part by presenting the reports and will refer them to the committee. Let us wait for the report of the committee. Because now what you're doing is discussing the discussion, the outcomes or recommendations of the committee. I need our committee to come and report here, and then after doing a clear analysis, we have a clear basis of debating and making the conclusion, Honorable colleague, you are making. So immediate after recess, we are going to give you space on the order paper, Chair, Budget Committee, to ensure that indeed you report in the performance of the budget, okay? So, next item.
Item 3, bills first reading. 3.2, the Employment Amendment Number 2 Bill 2022.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that the bill entitled the Employment Amendment Number 2 Bill 2022 be read for the first time, and I beg to lay on table the certificate of financial implication and clearance for the same. I beg to lay and move.
Is the bill seconded? Yes, Honorable Fox, Honorable Mudini, Honorable Nora Vizira. Okay, Ndi. Yes. Aron Ayeku Gabriel Amos. Okay. The bill is referred to the Committee on Gender. And with that, item 4 is going to be suspended for now. We want this bill, the committee to meet and reconcile the two bills, because there are provisions which couldn't be catered for in the private members of bill due to the limitations under Article 93 of the Constitution. And instead of passing a law that is clauses with financial implication, instead of passing a law that is weak, because a private member is limited in one way or another, they better go back and reach it. We have one law that is very, very strong and addressing the challenges in the employment sector. Yes, sir.
I was actually very agitated, right, Honourable Speaker, when I saw both on the order paper. And I was feeling like, again, members are being frustrated, private members.
Yeah.
We need to cultivate that spirit. And probably the front bench should give assurances to members that they will not be frustrated. Certainly they lack initiative, and we can understand their sense of laggardiness and sluggishness. So if they can commit that do not frustrate members, so that members can really initiate, because the Law Reform Commission is also slow, and the front bench is not any better. And so if that spirit can be cultivated, we can do a lot of business with private members. I see the Honorable Kassaija is agitated, but that's the reality. The front bench is sluggish, and we're trying to allow private members, especially you, the Chancellor of the Exchequer, allow private members to move. You do what the Minister of Gender has done, which is commendable, to come and really complement the work of members. Then Parliament can really affect and effect the public cause. Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Thank you. And Rope, that's why we have allowed private members bill to come. So that if a minister delays, okay, if a minister delays, then they will play catch up. Yes, they will play catch up. Otherwise, we cannot frustrate the member. Let me first pick the mover of the private members bill, then I allow you.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I want to appreciate the decision you have made, and my emphasis is that the ministry should not facilitate other issues that were not clear, because already I've looked at their bill, and I know their interest. I know they are not interested in the issue of bringing on board the issue of casualization of labor. And yet it is very clearly stated in the statutory instrument. So I want to beg that the House, when time comes, they should not frustrate the details. They should not facilitate.
No, Honorable colleague, you see, that's why before I even allowed the minister, okay, I first called you. You see, we do a lot of work behind the scenes. If there is a member who has moved a bill, I cannot again allow on the order paper before consulting with the member. So I remember I called you late in the night, and we had a long talk, and we guided very properly so that we can move in tandem as a team. So it's very important. Now, you see, when the minister tables the bill on the floor, her work is done. The minister no longer has the capacity to frustrate you, even if she wanted. But I don't think she has, because she approached me and she said, I know my colleague has moved, but I want to compliment what she has done so that we have a richer kind of bill. So there shouldn't be any cause for alarm. It's the committee now which has to go back and assess and ensure that the two bills are integrated together. Honorable Kupa.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I don't like clarification of a procedural matter, because if a member has been given a certificate of financial implication, for this case, I just need some clarification whether that was done. Probably honorable member.
We allow after 60 days, you don't get a certificate automatically. That's what we consider.
Yeah, so she did not given.
Yeah.
So it was just implied.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Hey, colleagues, we are on RGED, then Honorable Saro Penny.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I want to appreciate the minister for the first time. Yes,
I hope not the last.
one, I'm a member of Gender, Labor, and Community Development. Right Honorable Speaker, this private members bill was referred to the committee. We processed this bill and we were ready to present the report together with the bill. There were efforts to reach out to the minister to come and appear before us, such that we do it together for her input, the ministry's input, together with the private members. Therefore, we were really frustrated. And today we came actually ready to present the report together with the bill. So if the minister is tabling a bill for reconciliation with already, because we must be mindful of the time and the resources that we use to process, because we went for a retreat, and it's not a matter of it, because this is not a ritual. If a private member,
But I thought you were appreciating me. This kind of appreciation.
Yeah, Right Honorable Speaker, why I appreciated her was to come at a time when we are ready to present the bill. I thought we were going to do it together, such that her input are made actually together with the report, which was already ready to be presented here.
No, Honorable, we can't introduce new clauses on the floor.
I know, my Right Honorable Speaker. That's why I appreciated her. But I appreciate your.
Thank you. No, I totally agree with you. It's a challenging situation, okay? But again, in the end, you want a rich bill. You want a very rich bill. If you find in some clauses which a private member is barred by law from moving, okay? Then what does it help for you to finish a bill quickly? And you again have a weak bill after, then the next day, the minister, immediate after sending, the minister can bring another amendment. You again go through the same process. So you'd rather harmonize early, but we are working out together to see how best this can stop. We are working out together to see how best this can stop. I had allowed Honorable Sarofen. Let's conclude on this matter. You want to go for Christmas. Some want to go to Serere. Today, I don't want to sit for more than an hour.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, moving a private member's bill is our right. And in moving a private member's bill, often, most times, the ministers know that such a bill is coming. And in order for these bills are not moved for the private member, we are moving this bill in the best interest of Ugandans, so that we can solve a problem that could be existing at the community level. And therefore, Right Honorable Speaker, even when the member has been granted leave, this member does consultations. And the teams that support the member here in Parliament, the legal team, do consult the Solicitor General. And therefore, I want to appeal to the front bench. We normally reach out to members on the front bench about certain bills. Now, the Employment Amendment Bill, for instance, Right Honorable Speaker, was passed by the previous Parliament. And the minister knew that it was one of the bills that was not assented to. And how I wish she had worked with the member so that she supports the member. We're not doing this for our own. Support the member so that the bill can come. And then you even support the process at the committee level. Now, we would not be going into this, we would by today be having the bill passed. So I want to request the executive, moving forward, we have other private members' bills. We have the sexual offences bill, which was passed by the last Parliament, brought back. And I want to request, still, Honorable Minister, this falls in your area because it is intended to address a problem concerning your sector.
Thank you, Honorable Sarah.
So I want to request, please support us
so that we move together. Other than this, you know, it looks ugly
Thank
that a member has brought a bill and then the government again brings a bill. Why don't you support the process
Thank
so
you.
that we move together with
Thank
one
you.
bill, like we did with the
Honorable
HIV bill
colleague,
and
please,
others?
thank
Thank
you.
you, Right Honorable.
I can see on the most important thing, you've been put on notice that there is another bill where you need support a member. Colleagues, please, let's move on. Clerk.
Item 3.1, bills first reading, the Law Revision Miscellaneous Amendment Bill 2022.
Attorney General.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. I want to thank you for agreeing to stand over my matter because I was stuck in traffic. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, I beg to read the Law Revision Miscellaneous Amendment Bill 2002 be read for the first time. I beg to submit.
Thank you. Honorable Minister, supporting documents.
Right Honorable Speaker, here with me is a certificate of financial implication issued by the Minister of Finance. I beg to submit.
Thank you. Is the bill seconded? Yes. Teira, Honorable Nsibambi, Honorable Anifa, Honorable Honorable Kanya, Honorable Itungo. I'm looking. Andrew Ranja, Honorable Katoto, Tracy Nora, Anyima. Again, yes. So the bill is seconded and referred to the Committee on Legal to be processed. Thank you. Yes. Honorable, what's the procedure?
Yes, Right Honorable Speaker, I want to thank you and to thank the learned Attorney General. Right Honorable Speaker, you recall that I came to your office and you accorded me space on the order paper to move a private member's bill on law revision. Again, with your guidance, the Attorney General came and we engaged because they had a similar bill, which I think is this one. Right Honorable Speaker, you recall my motion and the draft bill had already been uploaded on parliamentary platform, and I thought, Right Honorable Speaker, that in the spirit of allowing them to bring their bill, they would cater for the interests in the private members' bill. Unfortunately, Right Honorable Speaker, I have perused their bill, and it has no relationship whatsoever with the bill I intended to move. Right Honorable Speaker, when you look at my bill, which
No, Honorable, without going into details,
Yes.
okay? Okay? Because I know if your provisions are not provided for in the short title,
yes,
that means they cannot be introduced either at committee stage or even in the House.
yes,
They would need to be introduced from the beginning
yes, Right Honorable
of
Speaker.
the bill. So I will request today you meet with the Attorney General, okay? And our counsel for Parliament. We see how we can harmonize on this. If we fail, we shall get a solution for our private member
But
as presiding officer.
yes, Right Honorable Speaker, maybe let me be on record.
Yeah.
That their bill has no amendment on the Penal Code Act in light of the provisions of the Supreme Court in the Andrew Mwenda case. It has no provision on the Public Order Management Act in light of the Mwanga Chivumbi case on permission by police. It has no provisions on the Police Act. And all these cases, Right Honorable Speaker,
They are judicial pronouncements. So both the Attorney General and Parliament, we've not been playing our role. And Madam Speaker, unfortunately, the courts are still charging people under laws that were declared unconstitutional. Rogue and vagabond, idle and disorderly, under sedition. In fact, last year I represented a young man called Vigirwa Moses before the DC court over a law that had been declared unconstitutional. I had to remind the magistrate that this is an unconstitutional law, but they are still on our law books. So I expected the Attorney General to capture this. We have obsolete laws. Nachivubo War Memoriam Trust Act, right, Speaker. We are battling with issues to do with this post-development. It's a very obsolete and redundant law. When you look at theirs, they mention many, not many, but some, which are not captured. So, right, Speaker, it is obvious that their bill is not in tandem with my bill. But with your guidance, if they can agree to capture the provisions in my bill, I would have no problem with it, with your guidance. If not, right, Speaker, maybe that Attorney General is here, he would commit himself. If not, I would seek your indulgence to allow me move a motion to have the matter resolved.
But I said the presiding officers are going to protect their members. So, but Attorney General, want to say something?
Thank you very much, Regional Speaker. One, man is a colleague of mine, a personal friend. And ideally, there's no way we can avoid to consider his concerns. As Attorney General's chambers, I think we shall accord him time. We look at what he has and see if we can include it. We harmonize our positions to avoid a lot of disagreement on the floor of Parliament. I beg to submit.
Thank you. And when you do this reconciliation, you'll find some of them already, like the one on sedition. They provided for it under clause 14 of the bill. It's already there. So yes, I have it here. I have it here. It's there. So you can read through. Huh? So you need to go. You reconcile. Huh? But what is very important, from what I pick from what Honorable Asman is saying, once a provision is a major provision not provided for under the short title, okay, the committee cannot help a member, the house cannot help a member. So instead of now passing a bill, then immediate after assent, a private member again brings another bill. This is what we are talking about, that reach out, no, don't mind, reach out to each other. Let's have open heart. Please ensure that you consider the issues which Honorable Asman considered. If not, then I will allow him also to move his private members bill, and then I tell the committee to merge the two and reconcile. But I would think not all the time do we need first reach that level. You first give people an opportunity to work together. Once they fail, is when you go to that extreme kind of step. Okay. Yeah. Next item.
Item 5, laying of papers. Item 5.1, the National Budget Framework Paper for the financial years 2023-24 to 2027-28.
Right, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, sir, I beg to lay the National Budget Framework Paper, financial year 2023-24, and financial year 2027-28. I beg to lay.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Honorable Minister, is it accompanied by a certificate of compliance from Equal Opportunities Commission? And the assessment report?
Honorable Speaker, it's definitely accompanied by the gender and equity compliance on the National Budget Framework Paper for financial 2023 stroke 2024, 2027, 2028. I beg to lay.
Thank you. Thank you, Honourable Minister, and thank you for complying with our Rule 144, the rules of procedure. And it's hereby referred to the Committee on Budget, but also the relevant sector committees will have to pick out components which are relevant to their committees. Yes, Honourable Byanyima.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Through you, I would request the Minister of Finance try his level best and avail all members of Parliament a copy of that. Because last financial year, we fitted the road. The fact that they put them on the iPads, realistically have a touch of reality. You cannot read, that is important document for us all to speak. If we are given copies, that if I am wrong, I am an old man, let me have my copy. But I think it is important for members to have each copy, you read through, you pick what you can, so that eventually, even ministerial process statements, each member should have a copy, a hard copy, so that members can read what is in water, I can read on the roads, like we used to do. These reports can be on the iPads, but these documents are so important that we cannot read without them. You cannot imagine that book, how many pages are they? You can't read on the iPad, understand it.
Honourable Minister.
I thank you.
I don't need to rule on that.
Honourable Speaker.
Colleagues, let's listen to the Honourable Minister. We've made a request to him.
What has been requested is genuine, and I concur, and I will provide.
Thank you. That is sorted. Yes, Alop. Then is single man.
Honourable Speaker, thank you. I want to thank the Minister for complying with the timelines. But I beg that before we take leave today, for me to look at the copy on 21st December 2021, they laid a dummy and sneaked in the real documents after. So this time around, before my old friend takes leave, I want to look at the real document he has laid. So that does not lay a dummy here. We had a fiasco last financial year. So with your indulgence, Honourable Speaker, I'll look at the document while seated here before he leaves this house, so that I can do a citizen arrest in case laid a dummy here.
Colleagues, if you trust Honourable Mpuga and Katsai on such a matter, you'll fall into a problem. They are good friends. I know sometimes they want to pull our leg, but your colleagues, you share, okay? Yes, you share. You share, you open up to each other. Colleagues, this report, chairpersons of sector committees, we have only 1 month to process. We have to report to the House by 30th of January. And then the House must also approve it by 15th of February. So you can see our timelines. Now, these are timelines we cannot amend. Okay? These are timelines we cannot amend. So the budget framework paper is going to be our priority so that we give it justice. We don't want to go into rushed kind of situations. Okay? Honourable Singoma, you wanted to raise an issue? I had allowed Honourable Singoma. Then, sorry, Honourable Msasi, sorry. Okay.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Just to inform the House that the law requires us to approve the budget framework paper by 1st of February, not 15th.
Yeah, sure. Thank you for that clarification. Thank you. Yes, sorry, I had gotten it. Rule 145, colleagues. You just refer to Rule 145. It has very clear timelines, which we have. But I hope we shall make it. I'm very, very sure. Yes. Honourable Singoma.
Yeah, thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. I also want to join the colleagues to thank the Minister for presenting the budget framework paper. But Right Honourable Speaker, on an unfortunate note, last night the
on the news, I saw the cow of Nakaseke, reporting that will not be paying civil servants salaries for December and for December this year until I think mid or end of January. Right Honorable Speaker, even the other day I read a copy of a letter from my cow in Hoima, the same scenario. So Right Honorable Speaker, now that we are here, and the two ministers of finance are here. And
No, we have one minister of finance.
Okay.
Yeah. We have one minister of finance, Honorable Korir.
My elder brother, Honorable Kasaija, is here. Can we really know what's happening? Because this is too much. We are being questioned, we are being hit left and right, but we don't know what's happening. What's going on, Honorable Kasaija and the Minister of Finance?
Thank you. Now, I'm going to just allow Honorable Kasaija to respond, but otherwise I wouldn't have allowed this matter to come in where we've reached. This is not the right time to, in terms of how we are proceeding in the House. But since it is Honorable Korig, Korig has just raised the procedural matter. I'm guiding. Now you're saying procedure. What do you want me to do? Okay.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for your intelligence. I was just seeking your guidance that before the minister responds to his issue, I would also raise a similar procedure and then he handles at once. Honorable Speaker, according to the Constitution and Public Finance Act, the minister is supposed to lay the budget framework paper with several attachments. Last financial year, the minister laid the budget framework paper without those other attachments. And the attachments were brought later and made the work of the committee very complicated. The law is clear, list the attachment. I expect the minister to have read all the attachments as provided for in the act that has accompanied the budget framework paper. And I'm seeking for your guidance, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable, that's what I referred to. That's why when the minister laid on paper, on table, the budget framework paper, I asked him for a certificate from Equal Opportunities Commission, because Section 9 of the PFMA demands that. Then when the minister presents the budget, the full budget, because this is the budget framework paper, that's when all those other documents you're talking about will be read. But for now, budget framework paper under Section 9 of the PFMA, it's only the certificate of compliance from Equal Opportunities Commission. Okay.
Thank you for indulging, Honorable Speaker. I pick it from the Honorable Ekanya. My sense is that he's making reference to Schedule 3 of the PFMA. Probably the minister need to make a reference to Schedule 3 and assure the member that actually all the matters referred to in Schedule 3 to give meaning to the entirety of the budget framework paper are covered in this document. That Honorable Speaker. If you can give that comfort, I think the honorable member will be covered.
No, Honorable Mpuga, that's different what you've asked for. The member was very, very clear. Huh? Section 9 is very clear about the budget framework paper. Okay, you get it? So it's very, very clear that all these ones, the only requirement that is needed in form of a document. There is a difference between being compliant with certain documents, meeting like the requirements under the National Development Plan. That's different. The one for laying on table. Now, those other ones is what the committee will assess and find whether the minister has complied or not. Okay? We don't have the National Development Plan in this house. Huh? You get it? So, colleagues, let's not read much into this, but minister has taken note. If there is any document, and the chairperson of budget committee, the vice chair is here, I'm very sure they will do a very, very thorough job. What I wanted was the certificate as provided for under Section 9 that has been captured. Yeah, so Honourable Minister, you are supposed to respond to Honorable Singoma's issue. And I hope colleagues, we don't open up that issue. Be clear, Honorable Minister, on what is going on to avoid the debate.
Right, Honorable Speaker and colleagues, I will be very clear this time now. Let me make a statement. Salaries and wages have the first call on the budget. If this question had been given to me in writing, I would have checked. Just hold on, I would have checked the exact figures. If there is any institution or sector that draws salaries on the treasury, and that money has not yet been given or even sent, then there must be a procedural problem. And I want to promise this house that as soon as I leave here, I will go to check with the chief accountant why people have not received their salaries. And I repeat, salaries and wages have got the first call on the budget. So you will have to, if you want to get details, I don't know, Mr. Speaker, how I would be able to convey that.
Honorable Minister, you think in around 30 minutes to 1 hour,
yes,
you can have some information that
Yeah.
you can update this house?
Thank you.
Okay? So we shall wait for you in 1 hour to give us feedback here.
Thank
So
you,
that
thank you.
members are able. Thank you. Yes, back to my guidance on the budget framework paper. Colleagues, Rule 145, Sub-Rule 2, by 20th day of January, the sector committees need to have reported to the budget committee. But we shall be communicating, though we are going into recess, the sector committees are allowed to continue with their work, especially with processing the budget framework paper to meet the deadline. And we shall reduce on plenary so that you can focus on sector committee business. Next item.
Item 5.2.
Oh, I had, yes. Are you capturing, Honorable Minister?
Item
Yeah.
5.2.
Yeah.
The supplementary expenditure schedule number 1, 2022-2023.
Right, Honorable Speaker, sir, and the colleagues. I want to lay supplementary schedule number 1, financial year 2022/23. I beg to lay.
Thank you. Honorable Minister and their colleagues, this is referred to the Committee on Budget for processing. Next item.
Item 6, motion for adoption of the report of the Committee on Health on a field visit to West Nile and Northern Uganda to assess the scope of works executed by BMK Uganda Limited under the Uganda Reproductive, Maternal and Child Health Services Improvement Project, Lot 6, pursuant to Rule 34(1) and 2 of the Rules of Procedure.
Yeah, Chairman, this report has been, please. The report has been on our iPads for some time. It's a very direct matter. So go to observations and recommendations. We don't waste much time on it.
Well guided, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the report of the Committee on Health on a field visit to West Nile and Northern Uganda to assess the scope of work executed by BMK Uganda Limited under the Uganda Reproductive, Maternal, Child Health Services Improvement Project, AMCHIP, Lot 6, together with its appendages. Right Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay. Right Honorable Speaker, as you've guided, I'll give a compendium of the report, which has been uploaded onto our iPads. The Uganda Reproductive, Maternal and Child Health Services Improvement Project, called AMCHIP, was procured through a loan in the previous parliament. A loan of 110 million US dollars was procured from the International Development Association, of which 22.5 million US dollars was earmarked to support Ministry of Health to construct maternity units and related infrastructure works in 81 health facilities. And Right Honorable Speaker, this was divided into 6 lots and awarded to 6 companies. So what the Health Committee was trying to investigate is lot 6.
Honorable, you may just, sorry for the interruption. It seems the minister was quick to get an answer on the issue of salary. Okay, so if you could allow, we first allow them to present it so that if there are gaps, we send them, we still have time of sending them for more information. Yeah? Isn't it? Is that okay, colleagues? Chair, is that okay? Thank you for giving way. Yes, so Honorable Minister, and then we shall resume the chair.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, it is true that some votes are finding challenges in paying salaries for December, and I wish to state as follows. A number of votes, especially local government, experienced wage shortfalls in Q1 of this financial year 2022-2023. This was largely attributed salary enhancement for scientists and secondary school science teachers. As a result, Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development provided additional resources for wage through supplementary funding to the affected votes. However, after releasing 50% of the revised wage budget to cover Q1 and 2, some votes have continued to report wage shortfalls, indicating that they are unable to pay salaries for December 2022 due to insufficient funds caused by inadequate budgeting, not necessarily relating to salary enhancements. The Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development is in consultation with the Ministry of Public Service to arrive at the lasting solution to address the issue of inadequate budgeting, which causes recurrent wage shortfalls. In the interim, we have decided to front-load Q3 expenditure limits for wage to enable the affected votes pay salaries for December 2022. I wish to submit, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Thank you. This being a very important issue, I will allow 15 minutes. Okay, I'll pick around 3, 4 people. Rob, you wanted the clarification? No, let me start. The member who raised it. Yes. Are you satisfied? Don't have a question.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Well, I would like to thank the Minister for the explanation and to re-emphasize, Right Honorable Speaker, that this problem is there and it is actually much bigger than meets the eye. But fortunately, the Minister has clarified. It would appear to me the Ministry is well aware, fully aware, and they are doing everything possible to address the matter. We want our people to have salaries for the month of December as soon as possible, Honorable Minister of Finance, because you know the situation. Of course, these are people who are working very hard, day and night, and they must get their pay so that they can look after their families, especially during this festive season. Right, Honorable Speaker, I beg to submit.
But the issue is, why would it happen? Because you have figures. You have figures You know, you have how many these workers, you know, you have how many these scientists, Ministry of Public Service. Because finance only releases what public service has created. Ministry of Public Service, what's the problem?
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. And I also want to appreciate Honorable Isingoma for asking this question, because it is indeed a problem because we have shortfalls. As a result of enhancement, indeed we had shortfalls because the enhancement was done after the approval of the budget. Yes, therefore, those shortfalls are inevitable, and we are working together indeed to make sure people get their salaries.
No, Honorable Minister.
Yes, sir.
It's just very simple, my sister. The Minister of Finance says when you enhanced and gave them the risk, they released the money. They catered for that. I remember when we were reading the budget, Honorable Minister, you provided that, and I believe maybe under 3%. Is it one of the items you catered for? Yes, under 3%. So this is the issue of the numbers given to finance. If you give finance 100 people, 100 scientists, yet there are 130, finance will release money for only 100. So the problem, Honorable Minister, I don't think is on the side of finance. It should be on the numbers you released to finance to be paid, to be enhanced. So I think that's the issue, Honorable Minister.
Right, Honorable Speaker, let me also get technical guidance from our people in the ministry, because they also sought technical guidance. So let me also get it and give a report instead of giving you hearsay.
Honorable Minister, in 45 minutes, I will open this
yes,
matter.
sir.
Waiting
Thank
for
you.
you. Colleagues,
Thank you.
let's stop it at this. In 45 minutes, we open it up after the Minister of Public Service, because we need to know where the problem is. Okay? Let's give her finance and public service jointly. Members are not satisfied with the explanation. But if you got one of minister, if you got what the members are saying, you are not sending government workers home without Christmas salary. We are going into Christmas. For example, in my community, in my area, we have associations of meat. People contribute money for meat. Starting January, families contribute 1,000, 2,000 every month to be able to raise money to buy meat for Christmas. Okay? Now, imagine salary. If people can sacrifice from January, what about salary? So we just need the solution mainly. Let us focus not only on the explanation, but on what you're doing to ensure people get salaries before they go for holidays. So we have today. Yes, Honorable Chair, resume. We shall reopen this issue, Honorable Chimosho. After 45 minutes, we need to let them be prepared. Honorable Chimosho, is it on the same issue? Is it on the same issue? Is it on the same issue?
Right, Honorable Speaker, thank you very much. You know why I'm being impatient. It doesn't necessarily concern public service. This is specifically to Ministry of Finance. Right, Honorable Speaker, I think we need a harmonization. What is appropriated by this parliament does not meet what is released by finance. Actually, if we are to examine item by item, right, Honorable Speaker, you may be shocked that even some of the items rejected in the budget committee meet the first call on the budget in terms of releasing money. So, right, Honorable Speaker, I think while the law puts appropriation in the hands of parliament, I think there is a silent opposition to that mandate of parliament, and finance tends to do to the contrary sometimes. So, right, Honorable Speaker, I think we need to do a thorough examination of what parliament appropriates
what's released. And even if one wants to argue that there was no money collected, Parliament needs to know within time that this is not possible to meet, so that we stop as if lying Ugandans that we have appropriated this and then they wait in vain on what they receive. Right, Honourable Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable Chimosha, at the beginning of the session, we said once the report from the budget committee comes, assessing the performance of the budget, then we shall have a discussion on the same. That's number one. Number two, to me, why I still believe public service has a critical role to play. Salary is a statutory obligation. Finance does not have discretion on it. It doesn't. So on issues of discretion, I can agree, but on issues where finance, where we have no discretion, even we here, that's why that part of the budget is protected. We just pass it the way it is. So that one I shouldn't be having a much bigger problem, but let the Minister of Public Service come back here, because the numbers and public service, the other day I told Prime Minister to hand a matter, which they have not. They are forcing me to appoint. I'm being pushed into a corner of appointing a select committee to look into operations of public service. Though for now, I'm still resisting that temptation. But if you continue, I will have to go that line. And I know how tough that line can be. You reduced salaries of police officers. Someone who has been earning a salary for 10 years. You come from nowhere and you say, this is not your salary. Okay? Yes, then you have people. I saw the letter from the permanent secretary, Minister of Public Service. If you people don't want Parliament to do its work, it's unfortunate. A person, Honorable, Right Honorable Mumba, for 12 years, a person has been earning a salary. And then in between, you also employed some other people along that same salary scale. Then you come, you bundle everyone, you say, no, this was wrong. Yet Parliament even passed a supplementary to cater for that increment in 2010. And public service has come up, and now the police officers who were at 5 point something, now they are back to 2 point something, and many of them are falling off. They are saying, let's go to the legal profession. You're going to lose all your lawyers. So Prime Minister promised to handle the matter. Nothing has been handled. I'm hearing public service taking action. So if you don't, I'm going to take a tougher route, which I wouldn't, which I never, I'm still, no, don't grab because I've not yet taken, I'm still resisting. I usually take my time, but I'm giving government the last chance. They look into it. This is a direct matter. We have our senior employment professor and Subambi here, employment lawyer. You have one of folks who do, you can never, the law is very clear. You can never review a salary to someone's detriment. You can only increase. You cannot go downwards. So, Honorable Minister, I request you take interest in this matter. I'm seeing the IGP has protested. Public service doesn't want to listen. So the officers are going to put up. Anyway, let's go back to the issue. But the Minister of Public Service will come. Let them come, we handle at that time. I'm reopening that matter. I will ensure colleagues. Yeah, she has this point. Honorable, you may.
Thank you very much. Right Honorable Speaker. Permission to remove my mask. Right Honorable Speaker, like I had said, the loan of $110 million, $22.5 million was earmarked for infrastructure, to improve infrastructure in 81 health facilities. And this was divided into 6 lots. And our lot in question is lot 6, which was worth $24 billion, VAT inclusive. The contractor was BMK. And they were supposed to construct maternity units and extras like pit latrines, placenta pits in 14 health facilities in West Nile and northern Uganda.
The duration of the project, Right Honorable Speaker, was 16 months, and it was supposed to commence on 15th of March 2021 upon signing of the project. However, site handover was delayed to May 2021, and the contract was supposed to run till 30th September. 30th September 2022. The supervising architect was KK Partnerships. Right Honorable Speaker, Ministry of Health advanced 30% of the total contract sum, totaling to about 6 billion shillings to BMK to enable them mobilize and bring equipment onto the site and start preliminary construction. BMK provided a performance security in form of a bank guarantee worth approximately 5 billion and environmental and social safety guarantees of approximately 1.9 billion respectively. Right Honorable Speaker, the objectives of our visit as a committee, which was very important, was to ascertain the physical progress of the works, among others. We had received many complaints from the citizens of West Nile and Northern Uganda, but most importantly, the politicians, about the delayed progress. In other parts of the country, they were at 80%, and in this particular area, they had not yet reached 50%, yet we were running out of time. The committee also conducted a financial and legal analysis of the project to have a holistic scrutiny of the project. The sites visited were Panyemur in Pakwach, Kuchini in Nebi, Kochi in Yumbe, Lobule in Koboko, Oluvu in Maracha, Awo in Omoro, Akura in Aliptong, Anyangatir in Lira City, and Kamdin in Oyam. Right Honorable Speaker, the key findings from the field visit, the committee found that on average, the civil works in 9 sites ranged from between 55% to 80%. Remember, the contractor had reported in his analysis that all the sites averaged about 35%. And when they are ascertaining the progress of the works, they're looking at roofing, they're looking at plastering, internal, external, they're looking at fittings like windows and doors, and they're also looking at external works like pit latrines, placenta pits, among others. The committee noticed that there was minimal compliance with environmental and safety standards. Areas were not hoarded off. In one of the health facilities, a goat of the community had fallen into an open pit latrine, and it raised a lot of issues. Between July 2022 and October 2022, the ministry reports that the contractor BMK had abandoned the site and there was no progress of works, and had held several meetings reminding and trying to map a way forward. However, when the committee visited the site in the company of the district engineers, the district health officers, and the local area politicians, they found that BMK had resumed works, and in most of the sites, they were at roofing stage. And that's how the committee comes with a figure of between 55 to 80%. That was between 28th November 2022 and 2nd December 2022. The narrative may have changed right now in the positive. Right Honorable Speaker, Ministry of Health had given BMK until 25th of November to vacate and hand over the site and clear all their material. However, as I speak, beyond that period of time, BMK, the contractor, remained on site trying to finish their work still to date. So in terms of the legal implications, Right Honorable Speaker, in terms of the legal implications, the contractor whose works were terminated over a month ago is still on site. And for us, that raises a red flag, legal implications. But also, most importantly, there has been significant progress of works beyond the 35%. And when we met Ministry of Health, BMK and the consultant One of the way forward was for them to have a tripartite meeting in the company of the Attorney General to see whether the contract can be renewed. Because Ministry of Health reports that World Bank, who is the financer, has agreed for single sourcing of a new contractor. But right, Honorable Speaker, we are saying we have 6 months left for the contract to end on June 30th. Procurement of a new contractor, whether it is single sourcing, at most, and this we have consulted the technocrats, for the contractor to mobilize and set camp in northern Uganda and West Nile, we are talking about February. The contract, sorry.
Please, you listen to my instructions. Now you've decided to listen to Sarah. If you're a footballer, you are going to abandon a ball on the pitch because of a whistle from the fans, eh? And you concede a goal. Please go on, Honorable.
Well guided, right, Honorable.
Yeah.
So our right, Honorable Speaker, our concern as a committee is with 6 months left and procurement of a new contractor, whether it's by single source.
What members, while you're hearing procedure, members want you to read a report because you're presenting a report of the committee. Whether you're reading a summary or what, but they want to see you. It's as if you're presenting your own issues.
Right, Honorable Speaker, you had told me to summarize, and
I told you to.
I have read the
to
report.
go on observations and recommendations. Yeah. Yeah. So- So the summary also sounds good. Yeah? So
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I think let's move to page 7, which is page 24. The legal and compliance issues arising from the contract. Status of the agreement. The contract between Ministry of Health and BMK executed on March 20th. On March 15th, 2022 was for a duration of 16 months. The contract started running in May 2021 when the sites were handed over to BMK. The contract was therefore supposed to run up to September 30th, 2022, which was the expiry date. However, the contract was informally extended to 15th November 2022 to enable BMK wind up its operation. Whereas the contract between BMK and the Ministry of Health lapsed on the 30th of September 2022, the conduct of the parties, especially of Ministry of Health, in extending the agreement informally to 15th November 2022, and the continued performance of the contract by BMK without objection from the Ministry of Health amounted to acquiescence on the part of Ministry of Health, and the relationship between the parties would amount to a contract by conduct of the parties. Contracts by conduct are recognized under Section 10, subsection 2 of the Contracts Act 2020, which provides that a contract may be oral or written, or partly oral and partly written, or may be implied from the conduct of the parties. The ministry, in extending the agreement beyond 30th of September 2022 and further acquiescing in the continued construction works by BMK, had the effect of extending the agreement, albeit informally, and the doctrine of acquiescence is applied to stop the ministry from denying to have extended the agreement with BMK, since the ministry did not stop BMK from continuing with the works, even when the ministry was aware that the works were ongoing. Our recommendation, Right Honorable Speaker, the Ministry of Health, guided by the Attorney General, should regularize the relationship with BMK by executing an agreement in accordance with the procurement laws to govern the completion of construction of works of the maternity units and other related infrastructure works of the 14 health facilities in northern Uganda and West Nile under AMCHIP. Section 7, that is on page 25, refusal to renew the contract. According to the documents availed to the committee by Ministry of Health, there was a delay in performing the agreement occasioned by slow progress of civil works arising from low mobilization of materials, equipment, low deployment of personnel, both skilled and unskilled. The ministry further indicated that the contract was time-based and other contractors who are meant to install equipment were ready but could not access the site. The ministry also indicated that the project being supported by the World Bank was due to end on 30th June 2023 and assumed BMK would not be able to perform the contracted works by then. The ministry afforded BMK up to 15th November to wind up all the operations and hand over the site to KK Partnership to carry out evaluation of the work done. On their part, BMK informed the committee that the delay in performing the contracted works were occasioned by COVID-19, challenges brought on by increasing costs of building materials, fuel, which rose steadily during the contract execution period, the limited time for performing the agreement, given the scope of works involved, and the long distances between the sites, that is between northern Uganda and West Nile. And finally, the death of their BMK group chairperson, which resulted into freezing of the company's account, and this prevented the company from mobilizing and accessing funds to undertake work until the legal processes for the appointment of an executor were concluded. Right Honorable Speaker, the committee was informed that in order to find a solution to the delay in project implementation, various meetings were held between KK Partnership Architects, the ministry, and BMK, such as the meeting held on 26 August 2022, and agreed as follows. BMK should achieve 50% overall progress of the works by 30th September to form a basis for extension of contract. BMK was to resume work on all sites, BMK to submit evidence of credit terms, BMK to provide a list of credible subcontractors, BMK to extend performance guarantees and environmental social safeguards, and BMK to develop a work plan by 30th August 2022 showing how it hopes to achieve project implementation. The committee was informed that following that meeting, BMK executed agreement by mobilizing resources, employed more workers at different sites, and renewed the performance guarantees, which were soon expiring. BMK alleged that it performed the agreement to the rate that would entitle them to renewal of contract as had been agreed upon by the parties, since only a few of the conditions for renewal of the contract were not met. On 12 October, BMK applied for renewal of contract, and on the 21st October, the Ministry of Health rejected their request in a letter addressed to BMK, noting that BMK had only performed 35% of the contracted work and therefore could not extend it. The committee observed that whereas the extension of time for the agreement was within the preserve of the ministry, the grounds for refusing to extend agreement and the failure to adhere to conditions agreed upon by the parties in the meeting of 26 August 2022 were not tenable. The committee reviewed the contract between Ministry of Health and BMK and noted that Article 8, which provides for extension of time within which the contractor may conclude the contracted work, availed a window through which two parties could use to renew the contract and enable the completion of works. Article 8.5 lists the circumstances that could result into extension of time allocated to the contractor to conclude the contracted works, which includes delays caused by variations, climatic changes, unforeseen shortages of staff, materials caused by epidemic or government action, and delays attributed to the employer. Committee recommendations, allow me to skip to the committee recommendations. With the guidance of the Attorney General, the parties should settle this matter amicably through arbitration as required in clause 21 of the agreement. The Ministry of Health should verify and pay all outstanding monies due to BMK arising from the expired agreement. Right Honorable Speaker, I would like to draw your attention to page 29, that is bullet 7.4. Liquidation of performance and environmental safety guarantees. Clause 4 of the contract required the contractor to obtain a performance security worth 0.8 of the contract amount in the same currency as the contract amount. The performance security was supposed to be delivered to Ministry of Health within 28 days of receiving the letter of acceptance. In accordance with that article, the contractor delivered to the Ministry of Health performance security in form of 2 bank guarantees equivalent to 8% and 2% of the contract value, worth 5,760,761,137 shillings, 1,995,073,910 shillings respectively. According to the meeting of 26 August 2022, BMK was required to renew the performance guarantees as one of the conditions for extension of the contract, and based on this promise, BMK renewed the guarantees. However, without informing BMK, the ministry liquidated the 2 performance guarantees on 21st October 2022, at the time when the 2 parties had an informal contract between them. Whereas the ministry was entitled to liquidate the performance security, there were conditions that had to be fulfilled, and these were: A, the ministry had to notify BMK of the circumstances of liquidation before liquidating the performance guarantee. B, the ministry had to ensure that the contract was terminated first. All circumstances that warrant its termination had to arise before liquidating the performance guarantee. These 2 requirements were not fulfilled by the ministry. Recommendations by the committee: in light of the committee's findings that the Ministry of Health erred by liquidating the performance guarantee without the following due diligence process, the Ministry of Health should refund to BMK the sum of 7,761,835.47 shillings under the performance guarantees. The role of the Attorney General. Article 119 of the Constitution creates the Office of the Attorney General and mandates it to, among others, give legal advice and legal services to government, and to draw and peruse agreements, contracts, treaties, conventions, and documents by whatever name called, to which the government is a party, or in respect of which the government has an interest. The agreement between Ministry of Health and BMK was drafted and approved by the Attorney General pursuant of provisions of Article 119 of the Constitution. The committee notes the Attorney General's office has not been consulted in relation to the matter at hand, and yet the office is mandated to advise ministries, departments, and agencies on legal matters, including contracts. Recommendation by the committee recommends that a tripartite meeting be held between Ministry of Health, BMK Limited, and KK Partnership Architects in the presence of the Attorney General to discuss the legal issues surrounding this agreement and forge a way forward. Right Honorable Speaker, this meeting never took place, despite the fact that it was a very strong recommendation in bold, and we feel that the Ministry of Health ignored it. As I conclude, Right Honorable Speaker, the urgent complete execution of the agreement cannot be overemphasized. Delayed implementation of the project has affected delivery of health services and facilities, as was evidenced in Camden Health Center 2, where the committee witnessed that incomplete staff quarters being utilized as outpatient departments for about 70 mothers who had brought their children for immunization. In a meeting with the Ministry of Health on 8th December 2022, the committee was informed that the earliest time a new contractor can begin work on site is February 2023. And yet, the date of the project, the end date of the project is 30th June 2023. The committee is further cognizant of the fact that the process of procuring a new contractor, mobilizing materials and equipment, and deployment of new personnel would adversely affect valuable completion time. Therefore, the committee recommends that BMK is given an opportunity to complete the work. Since BMK has expressed renewed capacity and has procured building materials and deployed personnel on ground, the consideration should, however, be made on condition that a clear roadmap with timelines of completion and stringent supervision are put in place and followed. Right, Honorable Speaker and honorable members, I beg to move that the report be adopted by the House.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Chair and colleagues, for the job well done. You see the problem of adding on riders on the reports before they are adopted. Now, on the last recommendation, we said despite this strong recommendation being, has the meeting never took place and what? Your resolutions as a committee are not final until they are adopted by the House. So that one I cannot fault the government for not implementing because it had to be first adopted by the House. Okay? So we need to be cautious at committee level when we are doing our resolutions. When they come here, then they are adopted, they become resolutions of the House. Now, before I open up on this matter, let me allow the Minister for Public Service to give us an update. We conclude.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. The immediate answer is the front loading, which MOFPED is working on. We also agreed to meet again in January to review the payrolls of all local governments and realign the budget. But in the interim, for this December, Ministry of Finance is front loading so that all servants are paid. For me, I work in the Ministry of Local
the Minister of Finance is here, correct?
Yeah, I work in.
So that's our minister. Okay, one of Minister of Finance. You know, ministers, your politicians don't be technical. But Mugasa, thank you very much.
Honorable Speaker and friends, colleagues. We have committed, according to what the information my colleague has given us, we will work on that money even today.
Very good. Thank you. So not even, but today.
Today, no, sorry?
Today. That's why the minister wants to go back to office.
So you salaries, please, are settled. And they have cast a call on the budget. Now that my colleague here has confirmed that the preparation are going on, this money should be today. We are operating.
Very good.
System. Yes.
So the minister has made a commitment on the money that is, I want us to conclude so that he goes to ensure that his commitment is implemented. Yes.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Yeah.
In that respect, therefore, Honorable Speaker, I beg to leave to go ahead.
Honorable Minister, give us 5 more minutes, then we set you free. 5 more minutes. Rope.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. You have every reason to actually arrest him here because why should we find ourselves in this kind of situation? And, you know, the Minister for General Duties is here, through the Prime Minister. The front bench is very uninspired and insipid, and we are worried. Are you able to run government? That we must remind you that you have a duty to pay salary, to come here and make phone calls. The other day, the Prime Minister was angry with me because I said she runs the government like a WhatsApp group. And this is the kind of thing that a member must rise to say, you have not paid salary. So, oh, let's make phone calls. Hey, are you able to run government? You're not inspired. You are really insipid and you don't inspire confidence. People watching you trying to run government. Really? Are you serious? that it takes the 23rd of December for the speaker to insist that you must explain that you actually enhanced the salary and you didn't know what to do with the enhancement, and the House must expend the time to debate small things of movement of information. Assure me, my dear friend, that you are actually in charge. And probably why are you not inspired to really get things done? You know?
Honorable Minister, assure, Rope needs assurance that you're in charge.
My good friend. No, of course I'm addressing him specifically because
Honorable Minister, don't listen to side talk. Please focus here.
to err is human. To err. I think there is an English of that an English saying in that direction. To make errors is human. And I'm going to tell this House explicitly now. Please release me. I will make sure I will send a message to the Speaker exactly what is happening now vis-a-vis the subject matter we are talking about.
Honorable Minister, go and ensure that you what you've committed here is implemented. Please.
Thank you.
Please, listen, honorable colleagues. Now, honorable colleagues, just honorable Minister, let me just assure honorable colleagues. You see, we are talking about the deadline of today for people to get salaries. Now, the issues we are raising are issues which can be handled even in January. But now we want an emergency situation of helping colleagues. So instead of continuing holding a minister here, let him go so that he goes to handle the matter, we can continue. Yes, Honorable Tinka Simire.
I am raising a point of procedure.
Yes, Honorable. Colleagues, let's listen to Honorable Tinka Simire.
Right, Honorable Speaker. I was wondering whether it was procedurally right to leave the Honorable Minister for Finance, who has so many state ministers under him. And we equally know that on issues of money transfers, he literally has no role that he plays.
Yeah.
You tell me the code that he holds on money transfers.
Thank you.
You tell me. Does he have any?
Thank you, Honorable.
It's done by the permanent secretary.
Thank you.
Secretary to the Treasury.
Colleagues, let's
It
listen.
was, I think we would have given him like 5 minutes to stand outside, call the secretary to the Treasury and effect the transfer. But to allow him to have a holiday.
Thank you, Honorable Tinka. You see, even if the minister is not the one who punches in numbers and codes, he's the only one we can hold responsible here. The technical people cannot access here. They are strangers to this house. Okay? So he's one of us. Now, instead of him giving an excuse that you people held me in parliament and I failed to implement my recommendation, my commitment, okay? Let us allow him to go. Yeah, let us allow him to go and implement. So, colleagues, let's open up to this matter, which the Committee on Health has reported. The major aim of the House is very simple: ensuring the project moves. Ensuring the project moves. People want their facility. That's all. We are not interested in anything else. So I'm going to open up for a short debate because it's a direct matter. Is there an MP from the affected area? So that I can start with MPs from the affected area. Okay? So I will start with the Honorable Andrew Oranya. I come to Honorable Gilbert Oranya. It's the door of the Oranyas. And then Honorable Anton Accord, then Honorable Aisha Kawanda as an in-law. Honorable Vasari is demanding for in-laws, so I picked Aisha. Please, Honorable Andrew, 2 minutes each.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to thank the committee chair and the team for a fantastic report. I also want to agree with the findings on the ground because I was in Omoro last week with the team from doing a economic monitoring with the team from the Office of the President, and the findings are very similar to what you found. I want to thank you and recommend you for the report. Mr. Speaker, the recurring issue is this hybrid contract, which we've had discussions over and over about, because the district, as mentioned in the report, are not able to do any supervision because of those limitations. They feel privileged to be in the constituencies. So it is my prayer that we adopt the report as is, and if any amendments, we really want to appreciate the work done by the committee. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Gilbert.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I would like to thank the chair of the committee and your team for the good work done. Right Honorable Speaker, there's a tendency in this country whereby when a contract is awarded, the main contractor may not benefit much from that money. Right Honorable Speaker, we have experience. The contractors are ever claiming that when they awarded contract, the top government officials, they would like some money to remain with them. For them, they go on the ground with very meager amount of money, and they really struggle to complete the particular work. Right Honorable Speaker, let government be serious. Investigation be done. The moment the contract is awarded, let exact amount of money be given to that contractor so that EOC completes the work at a specified time. Second, Right Honorable Speaker, the district officials, the local government, wherever central government awards contract, the local government are not in any way mandated to supervise and to know what is going on. Therefore, anybody given a contract from the center will do anything on the ground because he's not liable. No one will ever put that person accountable. Let the district chairpersons, district councillors, the technocrats in the district be given authority to follow up the money given by the central government. Otherwise, the report from the committee is really so perfect. I get the report from my brother, the information.
Through you, Mr. Speaker. Through you, Mr. Speaker.
Chairman, as a former chairman, NRC5, I'm allowing you to do a substantive presentation. Otherwise, I wanted to pick you. I don't know why you are rushing, but do a substantive presentation.
Put a small information to.
You're a former chairman, NRC5. We want to benefit from you.
Through you, Mr. Speaker, I wanted to first give some critical information on what my brother has raised. Actually, most of the shoddy work in this country that we look at come due to the seepages, the leakages that are in the procurement process. Like you put it, giving that bribe, giving 10% is not part of the procedure of getting a contract. I don't know how we are going to fight that thing. Because for you to land a contract, you must have first donated 10% of the total amount to the people in the process. There's something called evaluation committee, the same people. There's something called a contract committee, the same group of people. Now, for you to succeed to get a contract, Mr. Speaker, you know that you have bleeded over 10% gone. How sure are we now that you are going to get good work? I only wanted to give information to support my brother's submission, but I have my own, Mr. Speaker.
Can you conclude with your own submission, Chairman?
Mr. Speaker, I wanted to, first and foremost, Karamoja was left out of that program, totally. Yeah, I wanted to raise the fact that because even the loan we're supposed to have benefited from, like you raised last time, up to now, we have not seen. So for us, we are now hearing like miracles when people are talking about construction in health facilities. So I wanted just to raise a concern that please, the whole government of Uganda and left Karamoja thinking that Karamoja would benefit from Italian loan. As we talk, the most underprivileged is the one disadvantaged most. That I want just to raise a concern.
Thank you, Honorable. I want to assure you, I personally followed, you can take a seat. I personally followed up on that issue of the Italian loan to the extent that I shared with the Italian ambassador for whom we have a personal relationship. he's pushing really hard. And I think the first release of 5 million euro is going to be made very, very, very soon. It's ready on, because the issues which were blocking the loan and the release of the money have all been sorted out. So that loan is going to benefit the people of Karamoja very, very soon. I can assure you on that, and I'm personally following up. Yeah. So I had allowed Honorable Akor, then Honorable Aisha. Then I go here.
Right, Honorable Speaker, allow me to thank the committee for a good report. But right, Honorable Speaker, the problem of giving contract at Central Region is the major problem in this project. From central government. And because of that matter, this problem is not affecting only health sectors. We have had the same problem in terms of education, especially the 6 schools in this country, which were also, the contract were given from the central government, and up to now, the construction has not gotten finished. I was wondering actually from the committee report, when people are talking about COVID-19 affecting the project, we're all aware that during the COVID-19, construction was one of the areas that was allowed to go on. And therefore, there was no way that somebody can claim that because of COVID-19, I was not able to finish the project. The president made a very good directive that your workers to be on site and finish the work. Right, Honorable Speaker, the same problem I have in my constituency. There is Health Center 3, which was supposed to be constructed in, actually the contract was given 2020 in Elego for Health Center 3. Up to now, no work has gotten finished. I went to the Ministry of Health several times. They cannot even finish the work. And the complaint is COVID-19. I think it is high time that people should stop using COVID-19 for purposes of going through issues that were supposed to be sorted. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Honorable Cooper, Honorable Aisha, Honorable Cooper, then I go here.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. I join colleagues to thank the committee for a good report. And probably I should start by informing colleagues that even the departments and government ministries that continue to work under COVID, they don't work in abstract. They work in an environment that was generally affected by COVID. That's why you see every ministry, every government department is crying, even when they stayed open. Right Honorable Speaker, the evaluating body that kept on saying that the work was at 35, even after work was continuously being done, is held in 2 suspects. Even at one time, they came and gave a lesser figure than they had given previously. That holds them in suspect. Something wrong could have been happening between the people that were evaluating this project. Also, the person that canceled the project, the contract, probably was blind to the issues surrounding this whole project. The death of a director who was a signatory to the account that was supposed to construct was an issue that they should have looked at. But we are happy that BMK continued to construct even when money was withheld from them. Money was taken away from them. And also BMK money was taken actually. Government took money over and above that they had given BMK. They continue to deliver. Given the fact that 80% of the work is being realized, and they want to realize the project in time, I really joined the committee to pray that BMK is left with this contract to do the job to the end, so that the people of the West Nile can benefit from this service. Otherwise, you also run the risk of now going into other legal issues. We also run a risk of closing BMK, by the way, shortly after his death. I joined the committee to pray that this organization is given the opportunity to see the
Thank you.
I pray. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable colleagues, of course, it's very absurd. We were here, we moved the motion to recognize the contribution of that great gentleman. But above all, we must see a way of supporting our local companies. We must see a way. It's not that we are trying to interfere, but we have to support our local companies. I believe the ministry can understand what we are looking at, because we have some of these small contracts even given to foreign companies. Ask yourself, really, is it still viable to do business? The local companies in Uganda work under a lot of pressure, especially construction companies. I have one experience. It's a business which I had until someone advised me that employ a foreign of a certain way, you will be assured of 10% discount because your person who will be going to procure is from this kind of group. 10% discount. I tried it. I was getting on top of what I could negotiate and get. The other one is assured of 10%. Then number two, they access cheap money. They look local, but they're international, and they access very cheap money against local companies who access money in around 25%, 24%. Other ones are supported. Then they have a way they support each other as a bigger community with equipment, with what, when the local companies are struggling. But the moment you don't help these local people of ours, when I saw that story of BMK, it was a very sad story. Very sad story. The government that praised him so much for his contribution can't be the same government. Before even his grave, you know, can crack, to be the one to say, no, we are taking away what we had given you. That would be extremely absurd. That would. Honorable Cooper.
Thank you. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I think you have hit the nail on the head. Right Honorable Speaker, I want to thank the committee for a well-written report and with the recommendations, which I support all. I also want to thank that the political head of the ministry has come here, because I was worried earlier on that we would not be here. Right Honorable Speaker, I think there's a problem with the government regarding the wording of the contracts. I don't know who has forced on them this business of lotting. So if a company fails, you'll find a number of sites have been, the work has failed. Just happened in the schools. My area is one of those affected. I think something that needs to be reviewed. The issue of Bubu we have raised here is very important for us to support our own. What was the issue with the Minister of Health hurrying to cancel the contract? Why have they not canceled for Rocco? Rocco has had a problem, but we are trying to support. The issue of Luboa, has the Minister of Health canceled? Rocco is here with us here in this parliament here, but we are saying because he has been around for a long time, let us try to see to support. How can we not support PMK? Surely. So I want us to support the recommendation that the Minister of Health, the Attorney General, and BMK sit and solve this matter, and the work goes on, and BMK does not collapse. Finally, Mr. Speaker, I would want to ask the committee to reach to other regions. They have handled West Nile and part of the north. Come to Eastern. Katsilo is one of those benefiting. Go to Western, come to Central. We have the similar problems with the contractors, and it's all the issues of lotting. They are failing to handle this matter of education. Follow up the issue of visit schools.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Honorable Speaker.
Yes, let me pick a few on this side, then I come back here. I have to balance the political sides. Yes. Yeah. So, no, you might be seated together, but I know you. So I'll pick Honorable Taylor, I pick Honorable Muma. I come to Honorable Bataringa. Oh, I pick your former Minister for Health. I pick Honorable Fox, I pick Gabriel, Ayeku, Haji, Choma, and Ogwa.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I take your guidance on protection of local companies very seriously. But I want to implore this Honorable House to debate without sentiments. That will guide us to give us a very objective debate. Right Honorable Speaker, there's a tendency of so many local companies taking contracts after paying hefty bribes because they know who is who. And this has heavily increased the cost of doing business here. Right Honorable Speaker, we are blaming government, especially the Ministry of Health alone, but also the contractors, by and large, are to blame responsibly
for promoting corruption in the procurement of these contracts. However, Right Honorable Speaker, adoption of the report has a bit of controversies that must be aligned. For example, there are serious legal issues which are raised. The chair of the committee mentioned in the report that there was an informal agreement alongside a formal agreement, and that was his basis for faulting the liquidation of the guarantee. Technically, you cannot have an informal agreement alongside a formal agreement, and then you base on the informal agreement. My recommendation, Right Honorable Speaker, is that we invite the Attorney General to look at the legal issues that pertain to this rearrangement before we make a serious recommendation that BMK should be left with the contract. I have very high respect and regard for BMK, and I would like to see them succeed better than where they are today. But we must not run government with emotions and sentiments. There should be some clear principles which must be followed, especially when it comes to contracting. I thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, but Honorable Taylor, this is in line with what the committee recommended. The committee says, the committee recommends that a tripartite meeting be held between the Minister of Health, BMK Uganda Limited, and KK Partnership Actors in the presence of the Attorney General to discuss legal issues surrounding this agreement and forge a way forward. To me, this is very. However much there are other recommendations, this is the overriding recommendation. This is the most important recommendation of all. Yes, Honorable Milton.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I want to thank the committee for the good report. Right Honorable Speaker, I think in the same report, they did mention the Attorney General urging and advising that this matter be sorted and handled amicably. It's the way to go. Initially, the Attorney General chambers used to be an institution of connivance for government to lose billions of money, but now I think the current Attorney General is sensitive to issues that would cost government loss of money. It's the way to go. And also, yes, because I think he put on lenses that saw ahead of what would happen. That's why he was advising through the committee that the issue should be sorted out amicably. I think that's the way to go. Secondly, Right Honorable Speaker, like you did observe, BMK as a person helped a lot of in development of this country. It's true that he passed on, but after passing on, it would be a disservice and unfair of us to totally paralyze what he had left behind by even denying the company to move forward. My take is that we should allow this company to complete these works and let the government release money without any further ado, because again, we'll be losing out on value for money because funds do depreciate in one way or another. I rest my case.
Thank you. You see, colleagues, let's be honest here. What we need, what the public wants to see from us is consistency. This is a contract of 26 billion. Okay? We have companies we are giving 200 billion. We have Abu Bakr, whom we've given 50-something billion. Okay? We have Atiak, who has gotten around 270 billion. Now, this one is not even asking for money. He's saying, leave me with my small contract, and I complete. So I think what is, if we are to be honest as a house, if we want to be consistent, if we are to help, let us have a principle of helping. If BMK has problems, also, let us get like maybe 50 billion, we give them, they recover. If it's to give. BMK is not asking for money, it is saying, around me, I finish my contract. Now you're saying you don't have capacity, you're in problems. Then solve their problems the way we solve other people's problems. Simple. Okay? Yeah. So I had, yes, I had allowed Honorable Sarah.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I want to appreciate the committee for their report. And just to state that how I hope there is a time frame within which the meeting between the Attorney General of BMK and the Ministry of Health will be held. Because if we leave it open without a time frame, then it may never take place. So I hope that first week of January, within 2 weeks from the date of passing of this, that meeting can be held and the matter resolved and they report to the House. Secondly, Right Honorable Speaker, I want to request colleagues. I was in the Ministry of Health. We used to send money to districts to actually procure contractors and undertake works. But, Right Honorable Speaker, it was a challenge. Most of you know that the health center floors that were constructed through the district systems had to be redone because they got contractors who had no capacity. They didn't know. Yes, the supervision became a challenge. So this is why, Right Honorable Speaker, we decided to re-centralize. However, the problem is not with re-centralization. Once a contractor has been procured by the center, this contractor must be introduced to the district and the district has a role to supervise. But the biggest problem also, Right Honorable Speaker, is the issue of lotting. And I want to appeal to my colleagues, specifically Ministry of Education and Health, where there is money and the lotting system is being done. Before I left the ministry, we had asked the permanent secretary to stop the issue of lotting. You give one contractor 6, 7 sites, all scattered in different districts. And far apart, Right Honorable Speaker. Yes, and far apart. There are challenges with financing. And therefore, the ministry should get out of this lotting business, maybe give a contractor not more than 2, 3 sites so that they can be manageable, they can be able to manage. And most of our local contractors lack financial capacity and they don't have access to cheap credit.
Thank you.
So the issue of corruption, Right Honorable Speaker, corruption is everywhere. It is at the center, it is at the district, it is everywhere. I think it is high time we thought of having one small entity that will do these procurements for us. Short of that, we are spreading corruption right from the center to the local government.
Thank you.
So yes, that small team.
Honorable Open.
Thank you, Right Honorable.
No colleagues, time. I know I had picked people, but I can see time. This is a very clear matter. I now put the question that the report of the Committee on Health on a field visit to West Nile. No, there is the Minister of Health. Minister, you wanted to say something about it? Because
thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. On the 8th of December, we had a meeting with the Committee on Health, and we also had a meeting with BMK. In the same meeting with BMK and our BMK as a doctor, the development partners and the Ministry of Health officials. After that meeting, I think everybody got out knowing that BMK doesn't have the capacity to finish the work they gave them. Let me explain. Let me explain.
Just allow, please. Hey, now, colleagues, you're defying me. That means when I tell you to listen to the minister and you insist, listen to her. If there is an issue, I will make her clarify.
I am not misleading anybody.
Oh, no, Minister,
even their own supervisors, if you need an explanation, they were given 2 years to finish the contract. In 16 months, they had only done 30%, 33% of the work. Now, if you have done 33% of the work in a period of 16 months, and they have only 4 months to finish, can you do the 67% in 1 month, in 4 months? Their supervisor considered that they can't finish the work. The consultant procured.
Honorable Minister, please conclude your
The consultant, Right Honorable Speaker.
Please,
I will
the
not run an angry
consultant
house, please.
who
Please
is
behave.
supervising all
Okay, you
these
can't
projects in
continue
northern
behaving this way.
Uganda recommended that BMK cannot finish the work. They don't have the capacity to finish the work. And I have had several meetings with them as a company, because even when BMK was brought here, the same thing you said, I did eulogize him because I said we have a consanguineous relationship with the family. And so
Minister.
I sat with the family, the PS sat with them 5 times. They do not have the
Minister, let me
capacity.
make it easy for you. Let me just make it easy for you. We can understand your concerns as a ministry. But Honorable Minister, what members are saying is fairness, because you have projects that are performing worse than BMK, that are consuming much bigger money, and you're not terminating any. Okay? You are instead adding them money. You're not terminating any. You're giving them more money, you're revising, you're doing what? So what we are saying, what honorable colleagues are saying, Honorable Minister, is very simple, that indeed you might have challenges. We don't want to, Honorable Minister, I wish you could listen to me. Honorable Minister, as the Minister for Health, okay? If we are to study your projects one by one, and we say the yardstick you have applied on BMK, apply it all, you would be shocked on what would come out. So what we are requesting you is simple, that support this local company, look through their issues, have a meeting with the Attorney General, have a meeting with them, have a meeting with the funder, support. So Honorable Mumba, you want to say something? Let the minister give information. Let the minister give information.
Right,
You
Honorable
can't deny
Speaker.
information.
I am not
Because
going to
you
be
need-
here to tell you what I've discussed with BMK. They have, but they have conceded as we speak today that they can't manage the work. Secondly, right, Honorable Speaker, the bank, the World
Procedure?
Bank, has
Procedure?
refused, and they are the funders.
Procedure.
If the bank refuses, what do we do?
Minister, there is a procedure issue. There is a procedure issue. Right, Honorable Speaker, we have received a report. In that report, they interacted with the ministry. What the minister is telling us is information that is in the report. Because the ministry was given an opportunity to appear before the committee and put their side of the story. The committee processed that information from the ministry and information from other stakeholders, and they have come up with recommendations. Right, Honorable Speaker, is it procedurally right for the Honorable Minister to come and regurgitate information that they already gave to the committee? Is it procedurally right?
Honorable colleagues, Honorable Minister, I need a report of the tripartite meeting by 10th of January. The House needs the report of the tripartite meeting. That is the report for the meeting between the Minister of Health, please, Honorable Panado, you will not talk to the minister, then you bring me news of what you've discussed. No, that's not how we shall run the House. Please. No. Issues you have. So, please, colleagues, when I'm in a chair, I know who is here. I had already picked Honorable Rumumba. The minister insisted, wanted to give information. So when Honorable Rumumba is here, we are discussing the matter of Harris. The Minister for Harris takes precedence because she's in charge of the docket. Okay? Please, colleagues, you will not tell me how to run the House. When I have a Minister for Harris here, I go to the Minister for the sector. You won't tell me who to pick, who to do anything with, okay? Yeah. So, Honorable Minister, I need a report from the tripartite meeting so that we see how this matter has been resolved in relation to the recommendations of the committee. Rope, and then I conclude with Acting Government Chief.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I'd like to appreciate the committee for the very elaborate report. The committee was only shy in naming and shaming Right Honorable Speaker. And on another day, it could have gone out of its way to establish individuals that are cajoling, intimidating the company into abandoning this project. And I listened to the minister and even read her lips. She has had meetings with the family, not the company. And Right Honorable Speaker, we have information. You see, these companies operate in public space where information is awash as to what is going on, of individuals telling the company to abandon the project and instead partake of something small for another company to come in. Secondly, Right Honorable Speaker, we are also aware that there are individuals who told the company that they have to part with 10% revolutionary fund. Who's the revolution and who's the fund? They are not talking about it. So when we come here and we get equivocal submissions from the ministers in charge, there's even information to believe the grapevine that indeed the company is being held at ransom to abandon the project. And the Dr. Yume's submission actually let the cat out of the bag. This is your committee. They did a job on our behalf. And they are extremely believable. I'm afraid, my sister, you're not believable any day. You're not believable. You need to roll back your appetite for overtaking projects and allow people to do their work. You are not believable, I'm afraid. Right Honorable Speaker, we need a commitment from the leader of government business that they're going to take up the committee recommendation because the parliament is ready to take them on, to adopt the report. Right Honorable Speaker. I thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Rob. Leader of Government Business.
I thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker.
Colleagues.
And I also want to thank the committee for a good report. The report is detailed and it simplifies for us, the supervisors, to follow up on the matter because the details are really leading. I also want to, Right Honorable Speaker, through you, to request the leader of opposition not to belittle my colleague, the minister, because she was doing it on behalf of government. Please, let's really accord each other, because tomorrow it will be any of us to be in that chair. Right, Honorable Speaker, the issue of loting is something that government has already identified as a challenge and solution has been found. It is beyond loting. Loting was basically done under the UGIFT project. That is under Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Education. We've had challenges in almost all of the areas. But the president has given guidance and work has started that when it comes to construction under the Ministry of Education, secondary school and above, secondary education and above, and under the Ministry of Health, Research Center 3 and above, those are done by UPDF, the Engineering Brigade. And the intention is to make sure we get standard work, quality work done. Also look at the unity cost, because that has also gone up high, but we don't get the best quality in some of the projects. So that is going on.
And it has also led to delay in some of the projects because as we take UPDF does the construction. But Right Honorable Speaker, on the projects that are ongoing, especially under UGIFT, we still have challenges with quite many of them. But basically on this report, Right Honorable Speaker, I've liked the idea. You have said that we have, as cabinet, brought here proposals where government is supporting some companies. I think we should come up with a procedure and the principles under which who should be supported so that it is transparent and clear for everybody. Because if we came last week with something, proposal to support one local company, and today we are debating to remove from another, it also leaves the Ugandans who vote us as people in leadership that there is an issue that we must look at. I take responsibility on behalf of the leader of government business and support the report. And Right Honorable Speaker, we should be able to report back whether we are in a recess or not by 10th, because it is urgent for the good of the local companies in this country, but also for the good of somebody who was the sole proprietor of BMK, who supported the employment industry in this country. He's one person who introduced the motorcycle as a border as transport in this country. He's one person who put efforts in the skilling of people in Katwe. And that is something that has been taken up by our technical schools. So as a process of paying back, we also as government should look at this. And I also want to say, I may say all of this, but as also as a former Secretary General of the ruling party, I want to say this, he was one person because of COVID who gave me accommodation with my team in BMK during the COVID time, and even gave us his boardroom for us to hold the meetings. I want to say we should be human. And Right Honorable Speaker, I support the report is adopted. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Colleagues, and I want to put the question that the report of the Committee on Health on a field visit to West Nile and Northern Uganda to assess the scope of works executed by BMK Uganda Limited under the Uganda Reproductive, Maternal and Child Health Services Improvement Project, Lot 6, be adopted by the House. Those in favor say aye, and to the contrary nay. The ayes have it. So action taken on the report by 10th of January. Thank you. Next item.
Item 7, motion for resolution of Parliament to pass a vote of censure against Honorable Persis Namuganza Princess, State Minister for Lands, Housing and Urban Development, Housing, pursuant to Rule 1097 of the Rules of Procedure.
Thank you. I need order. Colleagues, can I have order, please? Can I have order? Colleagues, after the committee had submitted the report, the Committee on Rules, regarding the alleged misconduct of Honorable Namuganza, the Honorable Namuganza, please, can I have order in the House? Do I have parliaments in Parliament? Let's listen to one another so that you can get what I'm telling you properly. So the Honorable Namuganza in the midst raised the point of procedure in sub judice, on which I made a ruling because admitted on the floor, she said she had not yet served the Parliament. And she said she was looking for Father Charles Onen. And I told her that indeed Rule 8 of our rules of procedure does not allow me to run the house on anticipation. If you're looking for Father Charles Onen, you haven't served, you haven't done anything, I don't know anything about your matter. I've seen several media interviews here and there, but we expect that during our work, to be abused, to be bashed, to be, so that happens. But she went ahead and wrote to the speaker about the same, which I felt I should bring on the record of Parliament, so that everything is very clear. The letter is dated 12th of December, 2022. And my claim of sub judice against the debate on the report of the Committee on Rules, Privileges and Discipline of Parliament and the censure process amidst the ongoing Constitutional Court case, Constitutional Petition number 41 of 2002, Namganda Pass Princess versus Honorable Reverend Father Charles Onen and the Attorney General. Reference is made to the above captioned matter and to the ongoing exercise and process of censuring me from office of Minister of State for Lands, Housing and Urban Development, and I write you as follows. That the Committee on Rules, Privileges and Discipline tabled a report on the floor of Parliament, and I, being aggrieved by the process that led to the report, filed a suit before the Constitutional Court of Uganda, challenging the constitutionality of the actions and omissions of the committee chaired by Honorable Reverend Father Charles Onen, Member of Parliament and Vice Chairperson of the said committee. That on the 7th December 2022, while Parliament was in session, I objected to the debate of the above captioned report on grounds of sub judice. I laid on table and informed the Speaker and Parliament before the debate ensued that I had filed a constitutional petition number 41 of 2022, challenging the actions and omissions that led to the report, and the petition is pending determination, and that the debate was barred by the rule of sub judice. Service of the court process was effected upon the Attorney General as required by law. A copy of the received notice of presentation of the petition is attached and marked A. To my dismay, the Deputy Speaker, who chaired parliamentary session of the 7th December 2022, proceeded to lead the House to debate and adopt the report and recommend censure process against me in total disregard of rules of procedure of Parliament as well as court case, which act impedes the Constitution and the rule of law. For avoidance of doubt, Rule 73, Sub-Rule 1 of the Rules of Procedure of Parliament of Uganda provides that a member shall not refer to any particular matter which is sub judice. Rule 73, Sub-Rule 2 thereof provides that a matter shall be considered sub judice if it refers to active criminal or civil proceedings. Furthermore, Rule 73, Sub-Rule 7E provides that civil proceedings shall be deemed active when arrangements for hearing, such as setting down matters for hearing, have been made until the proceedings are ended by judgment or settlement or withdrawn. I wish to inform you that there are active civil proceedings in form of the constitutional petition pending hearing in the Constitutional Court of Uganda, a fact that you and all members of Parliament are aware of, as I informed the House on the 7th December 2022 and tabled proof to that effect. Despite the above knowledge, you have allowed the members of Parliament to discuss, execute, and implement the recommendations of the impugning report, which is a subject of active court proceedings, and the process of has already been cleared by the office of the cracked Parliament to censure me from office. A copy of the censure motion is attached and marked B. It is unfortunate that this is being executed in total disregard of the rules of procedure of Parliament and in breach of my constitutional rights. I have a right to disagree with the report of the Committee on Rules, Privileges and Discipline. And above all, like any other Ugandan, I have the right to seek redress from courts of law as I did in this particular matter. The purpose of this letter, therefore, is to humbly inform you that the matter is sub judice, and also to request you to prevail over the Parliament of Uganda, bracket, its staff and all the members of Parliament, to desist, refrain themselves and restrain them from discussing, debating, executing, and deliberating on the plans to implement the recommendation, to commence my censure as a Minister of State, so that the courts of law are given the opportunity to decide the suit and promote the rule of law. The deliberations will not only affect a fair determination of the matter in court, but will render the court case nugatory. I undertake to provide further justification if so required by the Speaker. Yours faithfully, Namganza Persis Princess, Minister of State Housing, Bukono County, MP. This is the Honorable Namganza writing to the Speaker of Parliament, challenging my ruling. So the Speaker has responded. I'm also going to read to you the response from the Speaker, whom she appealed to. Because I want us to do things in the open. I don't want to be receiving letters as if they are secrets. No. 19th December 2022, Speaker's Chambers, 19th December 2022, Honorable Namganza Persis. Allegation of sub judice on the matter of the adoption and execution of the report and recommendation of the Committee on Rules, Privileges, and Discipline. Are referred to you as contained in reference LAD/12/1222 dated 12th December 2022. Colleagues, I allowed free sitting. So you can share. We are handling serious matters, colleagues. Let's not allow to be distracted. In your letter above mentioned, you requested the House and its members and staff to refrain from doing or permitting the doing of any action by the House that would be sub judice to a constitutional petition number 41 of 2022 filed by you. I have carefully studied the matter and I wish to guide as follows. One, on 7th December 2022, my colleague, the deputy, Honorable Mahanga, I need the rope to, on 7th December 2022, my colleague, the deputy, ruled on the allegation of sub judice as raised by you in accordance with Rule 73 of the Rules of Procedure of Parliament. The discretion given by the Speaker to determine the instances where Rule 73 applies is meant to shield the House from dilatory tactics adopted by a party intent on precluding a matter formally debated in the House for the simple reason that is before the courts. The courts of law have on numerous occasions ruled that a matter is not sub judice where the petitioner reigned court after Parliament had commenced investigations into the matter. The court matter must have been filed prior to the commencement of the parliamentary inquiry. In this case, your petition was filed in court after the notice of motion of censure had been duly served on the clerked Parliament. At that stage, no matter was pending before court, and the notice of motion for censure could not prejudice a court matter which was not yet lodged in court. Two, I would like to guide you further that the Speaker of Parliament is clothed with the discretionary powers under Rule 73 sub Rule 5 of the Rules of Procedure to determine whether the matter is sub judice or not. A decision by the Deputy Speaker was delivered on 7th December 2022 after thorough consideration of your petition. I therefore find that your letter is a veiled effort to challenge and or appeal against the decision of the Speaker without following the provisions of Rule 87 sub Rule 2 of the Rules of Procedure. In light of the above mandatory provisions, Panado, you can you have to keep quiet when the Speaker is speaking. In light of the mandatory provisions of Rule 87 sub Rule 2 of the Rules of Procedure of Parliament, I'm unable to address the matters in your letter dated 12th December 2022. Anita Among, Speaker of Parliament. So I wanted to show that that matter is settled. Colleagues, whenever a speaker makes a ruling and you're not satisfied, you just refer to Rule 87 sub Rule 2, where you give notice of a motion to challenge the ruling of the Speaker. You don't go on radio, you don't write letters, you don't go on TV. So, but I felt this need is to go on record. So with that out of the way, honorable members, this item that we've read is governed by Article 118 of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda and Rule 109 of the Rules of Procedure. These two provisions elaborate the procedure to be process the item. While Article 118 of the Constitution empowers Parliament to pass a vote of censure against a minister on any of the grounds provided therein, Rule 1091 requires a member who is desirous of moving a motion against a minister to notify the clerk in writing of his or her intention, citing the ground for the proposed censure motion and giving detailed particulars supporting such a ground. This was done by Honorable Okot John Amos, MP for Gago North County, via a notice dated 9th December 2022. In compliance with Rule 109, Sub-Rule 2, the clerk, upon receipt of the notice of censure, notified Parliament by causing the notice, the grounds and particulars supporting the grounds of the proposed censure motion to be pinned on the member's notice board. Upon notifying Parliament, the clerk Parliament went ahead to prepare and deposit with Sergeant at Arms a list of all members of Parliament with an open space against each name for purposes of appending signatures as required by Rule 1093 of the Rules of Procedure. The list is required to be with the Sergeant at Arms for a duration of 10 working days, within which signatures of at least a third of the members should have been corrected. I perused through the list prepared and posted with the Sergeant at Arms, and it is entitled Signatures in Support of the Censure Motion against Honorable Percy Namuganza Princess, Minister of State for Lands, Housing and Urban Development in the Republic of Uganda. I've checked through the list. Honorable Amos had a list that beat the deadline and a list that was beyond the deadline. So the list that was beyond the deadline was reaching 259 members who had signed, but the list that I verified that beat the deadline had 196 members. The requirement for a motion to be tabled is 176 members. So meaning he went beyond the threshold by 20 members. So that leaves me with no option, but it allows the motion to be tabled on the floor of the House. Now, Rule 109(7) requires the Speaker, on receipt of the proposed censure motion, grounds and particulars supporting the grounds and supporting signature, as in the instant case, not to cause the proposed motion to be placed on the order paper for consideration at the next working day. Yesterday, the clerk to Parliament served me, and within 24 hours, as per our rules, I have to call the House and ensure that the motion is is tabled on the floor. These are issues provided for in the rules. It's not my discretion. I couldn't have any other to say I wait after Christmas, I wait for a year. No, I follow the timelines as provided for in the law. Having received cited documents yesterday, the next working day was today. So, and with all, after reading through all the documents, I now formally invite the Chief Petitioner, Honorable Court Amos, to formally move the censure motion and lay all supporting documents on the table, and also guide that each document so laid shall be endorsed by the clerk. Honorable Amos, I invite you, and colleagues, this motion, according to Article 118 of the Constitution, Clause 5, is not subject to debate. Today is not subject to debate. The law requires that after receiving this motion today in the House, okay, you get a copy of your Constitution, Honorable colleague. Yes, that's why Honorable Macho is looking at me. I'm telling him to get his copy of the Constitution. After tabling of the motion, within 72 hours, I have to write to the President. I write to the President to inform his minister that Parliament intends to censure the minister, clearly showing the grounds, the signatures, and supporting documents. And then thereafter is within 14 days after informing the president, I have to appoint a select committee which will investigate and give the Honorable Person Namuganza a chance to come and defend herself. Okay? I'm taking you through your own rules, because some of you might say, hey, I've come to give my vote today, might come to protest today, I might, no, the process has just started, okay? So then after, that is when we shall receive the report of the committee, and the House will vote on the report of the committee. For avoidance of doubt, for people to think today I've not allowed the debate, Article 118 about Article 5 says the motion for the resolution of censure shall not be debated until the expiry of 30 days after the petition was sent to the president. So the writing of the president, we shall be serving the Honorable Namuganza through the president. So the role of the president at this stage is to inform his minister. The reason being, you might look for the minister to serve and you don't get her. So the moment you deliver to the appointing authority, you have served the minister responsible. So Honorable Okotamos, I invite you on the floor. Honorable Amos, I think before you can first take your seat, it's important that I read the letter from the clerk. Okay, the 22nd December 2022, the Right Honorable Speaker, Parliament of Uganda, notes of censure against Honorable Namuganza Princess, Minister of State for Lands, Housing and Urban Development. On 9th December 2022, I received a written notification from Honorable Court John Amos, MP Agago North County, of his intention to move a censure motion against Honorable Person Namuganza. Upon receipt of the said notice of censure, I notified members of Parliament by causing the notice of the proposed censure motion to be pinned on the members' notice board, according to Rule 1092 of the Rules of Procedure of Parliament. At the same time, I further caused to be prepared and posted with the Sergeant at Arms the list of all members of Parliament with an open space against each name for purposes of appending of signatures according to Rule 109, Sub-Rule 3 of the Rules of Procedure. I have this 22nd day of December 2022 received a list of members who have appended their signatures signifying their support for the proposed motion from the Sergeant at Arms numbering 196. In accordance with Rule 109, Sub-Rule 5 of the Rules of Procedure, I hereby forward to you the notice of censure together with the list of members who have appended their signatures signifying support to the motion for your further management. Adolf Mwesige, Clerk Parliament. Thank you. Honorable Amos.
Thank you, the Right Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues. Honorable Speaker, I want to thank you so much for, first of all, giving all the details, explanation that you have given now. And number two, I beg to move a motion for resolution of Parliament to pass a vote of censure against Honorable Princess Namuganza, Princess, State Minister for Lands, Housing, and Urban Development. Just like you have quoted, I move under rules, under Articles 118 of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda, as amended 1995, and Rules 106 and 109 of the Rules of Procedure of Parliament of Uganda. Mr. Speaker, whereas that Article 111 of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda establishes a cabinet consisting of the president, the vice president, and such number of ministers as may appear to the president to be reasonably necessary for the efficient running of the state. Mr. Speaker, aware that the president of the Republic of Uganda, according to the Constitution's Articles 113 and 114, appointed Honorable Princess Namuganza, Princess, Member of Parliament, Bukono County, Namutumba District, the State Minister of Lands, State Minister for Lands, Housing and Urban Development. Noting that Parliament, while considering the report of the ad hoc committee on the Naguru-Nakawa land allocations, found that Honorable Princess Namuganza, Princess, abused her office and authority by directing Uganda Land Commission to allocate land to entities while purporting to communicate presidential directives which were non-existent, and resolved that Honorable Princess Namuganza, Princess BL, accountable for abuse of office. Concerned that following the resolution of Parliament on the 21st, 22nd, and of May 2022, and again on the 12th and 13th July 2022, Honorable Princess Namuganza, Princess, made statements
colleagues, colleague is reading his motion. Okay. If Honorable Vasarira.
Right, Honorable Speaker, maybe just to clarify, the princess' name or title for purposes of the record.
I'm informed it's in the Gazette. No, whether the title, whether what, I don't know, but it's in the Gazette. So let's go on.
Thank you, the Right Honorable Speaker. It will be befitting for
Honorable Amos, please focus on your motion.
Mr. Speaker, concerned that following the resolution of Parliament on the 21st, 22nd May 2022, and again on the 12th and 13th July 2022, Honorable Princess Namuganza, Princess, made statements about Parliament in the media and social media, attacking the operations of Parliament, questioning the powers of Parliament, the integrity of the presiding officers of Parliament, and imputing improper motive to Parliament and its presiding officers. Further concerned that the statements made by Honorable Princess Namuganza, Princess, were derogatory and were found by Parliament to amount to gross misconduct and misbehavior, and affront to the dignity of Parliament, denigrating public trust and confidence in the authority and integrity of the office of the Speaker, members of Parliament, and the institutions of Parliament, and brought the House and its members into disrepute. And our conduct was in breach of the Code of Conduct for the members of parliament as enumerated in the Appendix F of the Rules of Procedure of Parliament, paragraphs 2, 3, 4, and 5, and constituted contempt of Parliament. Now, therefore, be it resolved that Parliament passes a vote of censure against Honorable Persis Namboganza Princess, the State Minister for Lands, Housing, and Urban Development, on grounds of misbehavior and misconduct, and also refusing to understand parliamentary works. I beg to move the Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Is the motion seconded? Yes. Honorable Katoto, Honorable Chumosho, Honorable Rauben, Honorable Macho, Honorable Vasari, Honorable Kupa, Honorable Mwizite, Akor, Ruse Akero, Honorable Nevanda, Honorable Timugil, Honorable Christine, Busia, Arua, Butareja, Segumire, folks. Yes. Oh, happy to see you, Honorable Evelyn Chemutai. So, Honorable Amos, can you quickly, because you've raised the issues properly, can you use 3 minutes to speak to your motion?
Thank you, the Right Honorable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we are in this house to do our constitutional roles and mandates. And one of the biggest roles a member of parliament to perform is the oversight duty. And besides also, we have our rules that guide us. And parliament work through committees. All these committees that we are talking about can be ad hoc committee, select committee, standing committee, plus others that all of us knows and are aware about. Mr. Speaker, once the committee has presented the report on the floor of parliament, the committee, their work will stop there if the House have adopted the report. This House mandated the ad hoc committee to do the work, and the work was done. The report was debated. The report was adopted. But unfortunately, having given all that ground, this same House again went further to refer the matter to the Committee of Rules and Privileges, so that in a way, if there are issues that can be ironed out by my dear sister, Honorable Persis Namboganza, the princess, she would have completely and so concluded. However, to our dismay, Mr. Speaker, we had been opened up to the criticism, abuse, arrogancy, and many other things on the media. Not only to the media, attacks of personality. And all along, Mr. Speaker, you know, we live in this country and we live with the community where even Honorable Persis Namboganza is living. To the extent that it befits the understanding and the behaviors of elected member of parliament and a leader whom we consider that this member has to follow the code of conduct of how a leader should behave. We are supposed to be exemplary in everything that we do. Mr. Speaker, if you will allow me to quote some few things that she might have stated on the social media, and even on this floor of parliament, it will give you no any other ground but to move forward and say, wait a minute, why is this arrogancy coming from? What is the rock behind? What is the intention? The only best we can do is to remove the spirit, which that spirit seems not to be a humble spirit, and the spirit does not have one thing to do. Mr. Speaker, all of us who are here are not naive of the behaviors that we have been seeing. We are not doing this to attack the personality of our dear members. We are here colleagues, but we have the mandate to perform. We have the mandate to perform, and the mandate is very clear and short and simple. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I stand here. I don't want to go further to say all this, Mr. Speaker, but I beg to move that if you would permit me to lay on table the document to support the motion. Please.
And I hope they are endorsed by the clerk.
Yes, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, allow me to lay on table first the motion for censure, which I've been going through. I beg to lay the motion for resolution of Parliament to pass a vote of censure against Honorable Princess Namuganza, Princess, State Minister for Lands, Housing, and Urban Development. I beg to lay. One. Mr. Speaker, I also would like to lay on table a notice of motion that I wrote to the Clerk of Parliament, conforming to follow all the rules and the guidance that ensue before taking a step to censure or move a motion to censure Honorable Princess Namuganza. I beg to lay. Mr. Speaker, I would like also to lay on table the letter that I got from the Clerk of Parliament responding to the notice that I presented to the clerk office, and he wrote back to me, and in the letter that he wrote, he indicated that the members that have signed to support the motion against Honorable Namuganza, by then it was 196. Unfortunately, when he was counting, he did not count the mover. If he was to count me, it was going to be 197. And by that time, the period that was stipulated into our rules has not yet expired. And he responded according to our rules, 109, subclause 5. I beg to lay this letter also on table. Mr. Speaker, finally, I beg to lay on table the list of signatures by honorable members of the 11th Parliament who took a very keen interest to study our dear sister, and they found out there was a misconduct, there was some indiscipline, and a lot of other issues that relate to how an honorable leader in this country should behave. And they appended their signatures. By the time they gave me, the number was 197 who have appended in their signatures. But again, when I went and checked the final list.
Honorable, you met this threshold.
Thank you so much. I beg to lay the right honorable speaker. I thank you so much, Mr. Speaker, for having given me this opportunity.
Thank you.
To raise this motion. Thank you.
Now, honorable colleagues, the member requested me that he has 3 seconders, 1 from the ruling side, 1 from the opposition, and 1 from independent. So, and I'll start with Honorable Chimosho. 3 minutes.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. And I'm standing to second the motion. Honorable Speaker, the reason as why I firmly and strongly second the motion is because I am an advocate of promoting the dignity and decorum of this parliament. Right, Honorable Speaker and members, some of us were inspired to join politics and let alone parliament because we thought parliament was high above the bar. It is our responsibility as the current members of parliament to maintain that bar high. But also, Right Honorable Speaker and members, the success, effectiveness, and prestige of any institution rests on its orderly functioning and the extent of which it adheres to standards of discipline, dignity, and decorum for discharging its activities. Right Honorable Speaker, discipline, dignity, and decorum in this sense are foundational norms of any institution. This is particularly so of parliamentary institutions which embody the will of the people. Right Honorable Speaker and honorable members, the erosion of discipline and decorum will lead to erosion of parliamentary institutions. These foundational norms of representative bodies have always been considered fundamental and are therefore preserved, protected, and defended. It is in my strong opinion, Right Honorable Speaker and members, that we should stand strong in disciplining any member who tries to offend the dignity of parliament. But Right Honorable Speaker, why I'm even more convinced on this motion is that the person in question is not a first offender. Analyzing her history in the previous parliament, analyzing her history with her previous supervisors, senior ministers in different ministries, this person is a perpetual offender, and it's only right for this house to put her in her right place because she serves as a wrong example to the public. And if we keep her in the position, we will be demeaning the dignity, the decorum, and the standards to which, as parliament, we are expected to serve the people of this country. I beg to move. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Vasaro just informed me to inform Muslim colleagues that the prayers will be at 1:30. So we still have time. Yeah. Yes, Honorable Gilbert Oranya.
Right Honorable Speaker and my colleagues, allow me to start by appreciating Honorable Amos Okot for this very important motion. Right Honorable Speaker, the honorable member we are talking about, I think she has been one of the luckiest ministers so far. She has taken long to be censured. Right Honorable Speaker, the 10th Parliament would have dealt with her, but she has been one of the luckiest ministers to survive up to this time. Right Honorable Speaker, the major aim and target of removing her from the office, not the minor issues that she was alluded on the other time on the floor of Parliament. As Parliament, we deal with big matters. We deal with big issues. The other issue that she was talking the other time, I think it was not called for. We are not censoring her because of our personal and individual differences with other members. But we are looking at the parliamentary institutions and our conduct as the minister. Honorable Amos put it very clearly. Right, Honorable Speaker, you remember during the Nagoro land saga, when the ad hoc committee was given the mandate to investigate. The land matter involving 82.5 hectares of land, how the minister used our position to divide those lands among the so-called investors from our hand. And the way the minister was responding to the ad hoc committee, it was not convincing at all to Ugandans and to this house. Right, Honorable Speaker, we are looking at big matters. The Honorable Minister decided to give hectares of land to ourselves, to our people, and she intimidated arrogantly Uganda Land Commission using our power in the name of the president. Right, Honorable Speaker, this minister does not survive, does not deserve to survive and to continue being a minister in this August House. When we leave her, right, Honorable Speaker, when we leave her to continue being a minister, I am very confident Africa would laugh at Uganda. What she was doing, it was on social media everywhere, and the whole world is aware of what is going on. Therefore, we cannot maintain her, right, Honorable Speaker. And finally, right, Honorable Speaker, finally, following our utterances on social media everywhere and demeaning the presiding officers, she's putting herself as being one of the most highest ministers so far on earth. I really feel, right, Honorable Speaker, this parliament, my colleagues who signed the censure motion, I would like to applaud you. And today we are going back for Christmas very happily. Let her go and let the process continue. I pray for the success of passing this motion moved by Honorable Court John Amos. I beg to move.
Thank you. Honorable Chemutai. Colleagues, we are not debating. These are seconders. Yeah, no. Seconders, I have their list. I was given a list, so. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Honorable Minister. Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker. I stand to second the motion, and I appreciate my honorable colleague who moved this motion. The Honorable Minister, the princess is my friend. Yeah, she's my friend, and I'm a peace-loving Ugandan. And all I expected her was to do the right thing and not to abuse the House. Honorable Minister, Honorable Speaker, the time she went personal, insulting the Honorable Speaker was an insult to the whole House. And I believe the Honorable Minister is a Christian. In the book of Romans, it says, respect the authority. I expect her to respect the authority and stick on her line. If the problem was land issues, should have remained on land business and not going very personal, attacking a family of a respected person of our boss. Number 3, and lastly, Honorable Speaker, the name she carries, princess, does not depict what she speaks. It couldn't cause her anything to say, I am sorry, honorable colleagues. Her mentioning that she regrets, that was an insult to the whole House. I beg to move. Thank you, Honorable.
Thank you, Honorable Sir Maureen.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I rise to support the motion moved by my Honorable Okoth. Right, Honorable Speaker, in the Parliament we are in today, we have been sent here by our people to debate matters concerning our citizens. We are here by our mandate to appropriate budgets, not open up grounds for battlefield. Right, Honorable Speaker, earlier last year, I remember we all took oath
oath of allegiance that we shall be faithful and we shall provide faithful service to the Parliament of Uganda, and we shall uphold the Constitution of Uganda by protecting it. That was the oath we all took. Right Honorable Speaker, a member of this August House, my Honorable Minister, Princess, who also took an oath then. It seems she has forgotten where she is. Right Honorable Speaker, we are here to defend the image of Parliament. If we don't defend the image of Parliament, that means the public is going to lose confidence and trust in us. Imagine we are here in this house, we are people of different calibers and professions. We cannot be attacked by a fellow member like Honorable Princess. She's also my friend too, but from that day, when she came in this August House and she stated whatever things she wanted to state, I don't want to be like a tsunami to be swept by her, because she's not the person that can actually sit and we debate and we sort out matters. The same honorable here, she has an attitude problem. Every one of us here, we all look useless to her. That's the fact. That pride in her as a woman, you should learn how to take apologies. The other day, when the Right Honorable Prime Minister told her to apologize, she simply refused. What was the meaning of that? And if she cannot apologize, why does she continue to work in the same place where she was sent? Why can't she resign? Because that's the best thing to do. Therefore, Right Honorable Speaker, the minister in question, we're all in the mighty party. Right, just one minute.
Conclude, yeah, conclude, Honorable colleague.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember she even went ahead to forge a letter regarding that Naguru land wrangle. In the Honorable Kantutu's report, it is there. And if she was an ordinary member in public office, she would be off by now. But she's a minister. I wondered what she's still doing in that office. If she can still use her office to abuse the parliament she works in. So I think, members, she's accountable, and it's high time we all rise together to defend the image of this parliament. Because if we don't, imagine you are going to go outside there in public events, you are going to attend events, people are going to analyze you, and we shall all look unserious. We cannot accept that nonsense to be taking place in this parliament. Right, Honorable Speaker, thank you.
Honorable Okota, I had allowed you a few people on the list you gave me. You gave me a big list. We can't continue because it will degenerate into a debate. I will conclude with Honorable Macho.
Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, seasons come and seasons go. And every season has gifts. This season of Christmas in the Republic of Uganda is me, Macho, the Member of Parliament for Busia Municipality, to second humbly this motion that the minister in question, Namuganza, passes, should be given back to the appointing authority as a gift to Ugandans to demonstrate that truly our dear president is having a burden with some of his people in executive to manage. Mr. Speaker, sir, why I call a burden? I saw the Right Honorable Prime Minister of the Republic of Uganda struggling, suffering, talking all the sweet soft words on floor of Parliament, pleading over a minister to apologize. Mr. Speaker, sir, and my colleagues, that did not end there. It made the Right Honorable Prime Minister of the Republic of Uganda move out, and I saw her fighting with microphones with microphones blocking journalists so that the Minister of State should not address the media. That shows a sign that the minister in question has no values of being a humble leader. And she lacks humility as one of the key values of a leader. But Mr. Speaker, sir, this is not by surprise. The minister in question, when I was the youth chairman of Busia district, she was a secretary for female youth for her district. And the character she's exhibiting now was the same character she used to exhibit. I therefore see, Mr. Speaker, and my colleagues, that the only solution, what we do where I come from, when you fail to manage any person, you take back the owner. Good enough, Mr. Speaker, sir, is that we have very many royal, humble NRM cadres who can be ministers, who even worked harder. We have folks Odois who are here, who can be very good ministers. We even have some colleagues in the house like Honorable Kamara who are willing to join NRM to become ministers. My colleagues, what we are doing is a noble cause. We are rebranding. We are rebranding the executive so that NRM can become a mighty party with a new breed and a new fish in the dock. I do submit and recommend, and I request the Ugandans that this gift that we are bringing back, receive it warmly with the two hands. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Order. Order.
Thank you. Honorable point of order applies when a member is still holding the floor. So once there is no one on the floor, please, you don't access the microphone without my permission. Yeah. Please.
Procedure.
No, that's not how we work. That's not how we work. That's not how we work. Yes, colleagues, you've now, Honorable, you have no, Honorable, rules allow you to give a statement of personal explanation. So you can come to my office, I'll give you space. You reject a ministry offer from Honorable Macho, but let me allow you. Let's allow Honorable Macho.
Speaker.
Honorable Tinker, let's allow Honorable Dr. Kamara.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I want to put it on record that I am a very proud member of FDC, and I'm not about to join the so-called mighty party of NRM. I'm FDC. That's what I wanted to put clear.
Thank you
To my voters and all Ugandans. Thank you so much.
So you reject Honorable Macho's offer?
I have flatly rejected your offer, Honorable Macho.
Yes, Honorable Tinker, to conclude.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sir.
Colleagues, let's have order.
I move under Rule 16 of our Rules of Procedure, which read that a member may, with the consent of the Speaker, move that a rule be suspended in the application to a particular motion before the House, and if the motion is carried, the rule in question shall be suspended. Sub-rule 2, the rule that I seek that we suspend of this House is Rule 107 that provides for the procedure, a long procedure of disposing of a censure motion of a minister. Right Honorable Speaker, when you read sub-rule 2 of Rule 16 provides that the rules which cannot be suspended, and Rule 109 is not one of these rules provided for. Right Honorable Speaker, I plead with you and seek your consent that this matter as you see the temple in the house, be disposed of today. I beg to submit.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Honorable Tinka, Rule 107 of our rules of procedure talks about removal of the president, not removal of the minister. The minister is, no, you requested for 107. So the minister is 109, and of course with that, I can allow you to make your correction.
Right, Honorable Speaker, my rule that I thought to suspend is 109.
Okay, thank you.
For avoidance of doubt, the title is Vote of Censure Against Ministers.
Yeah, of course I knew, but I wanted to
Much
correct you
obliged,
proper.
much
Yeah,
obliged.
thank you. Colleagues, for those who have not yet picked the new rules, please pick the new rules, because we amended the rules, so I can understand. No, I can understand the challenge. Now, Honorable colleague, please, right enough you say with the consent of the speaker. This is a very serious matter that is also clearly provided for under Article 118 of the Constitution. So the moment I just refer to the rules only, and yet the Constitution gives a very clear procedure, I think we shall be arming someone to say you never proceeded the right procedure to process the motion. So I would request you agree with me, Honorable Tinka, that indeed we don't suspend the rule, we follow the procedure as laid out in the Constitution and rules of procedure. So colleagues, with that being done, I'm going to inform the President within 72 hours. And then after 14 days, we shall appoint a select committee, which shall process the motion and listen to the Honorable Namuganza, where she will appear either in person or with her lawyer and ensure that indeed she responds to the issues in the petition. Colleagues, we are breaking off for Christmas. This is the last session before Christmas. But as you know, tomorrow we have the burial of our colleague in Serere, and there is a transport provided. Honorable Cooper, you can guide on that issue, on the issue of transport.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, the burial is slated for tomorrow. As we speak now, I want to update also the House that the body has safely arrived in Soroti at the Iteso Cultural Center. So it will just 17 kilometers to home, or 17 miles. Right Honorable Speaker, tomorrow there will be transport in the Parliament here. Those who used to group transport at 6 a.m. The Director of Transport, Mr. Pata, is coordinating it. So there will be transport here. Those who may drive their cars, you can go through Palsa, Shota, to Kumi, and then to Ngora, and then to the place of burial in the Ochapa Town Council. But if you went up to Soroti Town, you take the Soroti Serere Road, 17 miles. 17 miles to Serere, and it's just about 3 kilometers from Serere District Headquarters. If you are flying, you land in Olio Primary School. That's the most secure place which has been secured for those who will be flying. Because I got a request from some colleagues who are saying they may fly in a chopper. So that's the place you can land to. So Right Honorable Speaker, Olio Primary School. So Right Honorable Speaker, we want to invite you all to Serere to say farewell to our brother. But Right Honorable Speaker, like I said yesterday, I think the Minister of Internal Affairs needs to come up with a full report about the incident. So you will ask the Ministry of Internal Affairs to follow that, because it is something that's raising some issues.
Sure,
we don't want to happen like Wabiriga. We don't want that type of thing happen in Serere. So, Right Honorable Speaker, we want to thank you, and we pray that the Almighty God takes us safely to Serere and safely back here and rest the soul of our late brother and the wife in life eternity. Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Cooper. Colleagues, chairpersons and leadership of sectoral committees, you have up to 20th of January to present to the budget committee your reports on the budget framework paper. So meaning immediate after Christmas, committees should resume a sitting. Now, priority is going to be given to sectoral committees. I request standing committees, please don't conflict with the sectoral committees because members belong to both standing and sectoral. Let us use this January period to focus on the budget, whereby we shall only be having sectoral committees sitting. With that, colleagues, I wish you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And I adjourn the House sign die.